Hello and welcome. This is Gray Hughes of Gray Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
Huh?
Hey, what's going on, freaks? Well, hey, why don't you guys try, can you go out and look at your, my channel and see if it has the circle around it that's red that says I'm live? I came on late last night to try to see if it fixed. Oh, jeez. That was a big sneeze. Tell me if it has the red circle and it says live. Oh, jeez. Oh, come on. It has to say it. No? Okay, well, some people say, if anybody sees it, then it is good. Okay, hold on. Let me go to my, I'll try it myself. Hold on. Okay, how come some don't and some do? That's crazy. That just shows you YouTube is doing some tricks. Yeah, see, like when I go to my, see right there, I'm using incognito mode, and there it is right there. So definitely shows it. So that's good. I don't know why some of you don't. If it shows for anybody, it should show for everybody. All right, cool. All right, sweet. That just means you have to go to my, my channel, Gray Hughes Investigates, and you tell me. Oh, this isn't working. Hold on. Line. They got to fix a couple things. I had to reboot. There's always these little things that you forget about. Hey, thanks, Cheryl Bullock. Let's see. How am I on the screen? Maybe I can maybe zoom in a little bit like that. There you go. Oh yeah, and then I got to get the reason I'm kind of flustered because I went into the house for a minute, and when I got in there, Chloe I think had diarrhea or something, and it was just it was gross. So I had to clean it up. It still smells bad in there, but I gotta get in here. Yeah. And then we also had we have this sort of shed house, sort of, something in the backyard, and there was this cat on top of it stuck there, and there's really like no way to get up there. The back, it's 12 feet up with no way to climb, but you could jump from the roof. So we're trying to back engineer how the hell that cat got up on the roof. Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. He would have had to go on the roof to then jump to that shed. Yeah, that's right. It's working. Finally. All right. So if you, whatever, I don't know what you're referring to when you say Brian Enton. So if you want to send me the, I know who he is, but you got to send me an email. That YouTube doesn't allow you to put links in chat. Okay. Okay, what about flowers on camera? What does that mean? Okay, that's not, I don't know if I got it from you. Are you Susan? Sweet Lorraine? Or is that somebody else? Because I didn't get anything from you. Oh, you sent it. You're a spam. Okay. Not spam. Okay. All right. Now you're out here. Well, I've had a bunch of them over the age of 14, Sandy. Hey, thanks, Wild Bill Wassman. All right. Okay. Now I got to take this is one my wife calls every night when she's. Hold on. I had to tell her about the backyard. I mean, not the backyard. The house is going to smell like dog crap, you know. All right. Let's see. Well, I wanted to tell you guys about this other case really quick. It's pretty nutty. And I believe it or not, I went out and got the arrest document so we can read it. But look at this crazy crap here, you guys. Thanks, Robert Whitaker. Are you a relative of Roger Whittaker, the singer? You know, who was more popular than Elvis and the Beatles combined? Actually, that was Slim Whitman. Never mind. Those are the stupidest commercials ever. Anyways, a 40-year-old Milton woman is charged with the murder of her 6-year-old daughter, according to the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office. April Oliva, facing a murder charge, as an arrest report states, she stabbed her daughter, Valerie Oliva, over 20 times with a kitchen knife. The homicide occurred late Tuesday night at her home on the 5,000 block of Knowling Drive in Milton. And then, so we're just going to go right over to there. I actually went and found her home in there. What's going on, by the way, with just nut jobs? Way out on the panhandle of Florida, right here on this little, part that juts out. And then just right here on this home, right there, or in that home. See that? And then here is the document. So let's just see what these paragraphs say, and then that'll be it. I know it's the panhandle. I said that. Amy Tuttle received a disturbing phone call from April, her sister, around midnight. Amy stated April was not making much sense. Must be the sister. Amy must be the sister of April. She's not making much sense, making comments about evil spirits and something bad happened. Amy had her roommate contact their father, Stephen Tuttle, while she stayed on the phone with April. It was requested that Stephen travel to 5756 Knowling Drive to check on April, since she was not making sense. It says since, like S-I-N-C-E, in the phone call. Stephen arrived at the residence just after midnight on 2/25/2026. He made several attempts to gain entry into the residence. So this is the father, right? Yeah. He could hear April yelling, but could not make out what she was saying. He was able to locate an unlocked door and enter through the master bedroom. He stepped into the kitchen and saw April and Valerie covered in blood. So April the mom and Valerie the child, they were both covered in blood. April repeatedly stated, "She's dead," and he observed Valerie's lifeless body. He immediately called 911 and followed instructions until law enforcement arrived. When deputies arrived, they located April in the kitchen, laying on top of Valerie's body. April was dressed but barefoot. There was blood throughout the home and a large amount of blood in the kitchen where the two were located. It was quickly determined Valerie was deceased and had sustained deep lacerations to her neck, exposing tissues and bone. April was located with lacerations to her neck and abdomen and transported to Sacred Heart Hospital for treatment. So she stabbed herself? While being transported to the hospital, April made the statement she knew she would be going to jail and ultimately requested an attorney. There was no signs of forced entry to the residence. I observed a knife in the dining room area of the residence and under the kitchen island. There were blood smears and bloody footprints throughout the residence. I observed there to be a significant amount of blood in the kitchen. By a side door, Valerie had a towel-like cloth on her body and a kitchen rug draped over her body. I observed a deep laceration on what appeared to be her left shoulder area, exposing tissue. Once the medical investigator arrived on scene, it was determined Valerie was wearing a black-colored zip-up outfit. It was then determined Valerie sustained over 20 stab wounds and lacerations to her body. So this mom stabbed her kid 20 times. During this time, it was determined Oliva, that's the husband of April, was out of town for work. I mean, what a nightmare. Philip last spoke with April on 2/24/2026 at approximately 7 p.m. To his knowledge and to Stephen's knowledge, there was nobody else in the residence with April and Valerie. Based on the evidence at the residence and statements from family, I respectfully request a warrant capias for the arrest of April Aaron Oliva for knowingly and willfully violating FSS 78204 murder by attacking Valerie with a kitchen knife over 20 times, ultimately succumbing to injuries. Man, that's just insane. Ridiculous. You notice how we only have 128 people here? How is that? Is it because for a moment I dared to talk about something else? Jeez, unreal. Let's see. Well, that's that story. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. If they come out with a probable cause, might have more detail and stuff like that. But it's pretty cool. That county, you just go to their website and it has a file right there. You just download it. You don't have to get a hold of somebody and say, "Hey, can you send it over?" Yeah, maybe she is nuts. Yeah, she already had court hearings and whatnot. Yeah, well, I tried talking about something else, but look how there's only 139 people. And then the moment you touch something else, they leave because they're just so jittery. Gotta go, hurry up, great. I mean, I like to talk about the Nancy Guthrie case too, but there are other things that go on as well. So I thought I'd fill you in on something. Hope that's okay. All right. All right, so I am going to tell you guys about. I mentioned it last night, but nobody seemed interested when I was talking. There's this person that communicated with me, and she took an image of one of the people that's been associated with the case currently, not a family member, and had a straight-on shot basically, and used the image of the suspect. That really clear shot. Remember, that one clear shot with the flashlight? And she did this thing where she overlaid it's kind of like what I do, but with digitally, except I don't do the overlays with stuff like that. But anyways, she took the image of the person and then like a photocopy, and then use this Lightroom thing and then put it over the top, and then scaled it until she could get it where the eyes were the same, and then everything matched up. I mean, it's pretty crazy how similar it does look in the eyes and just every little element inside there. And then she sent it in as a tip, right? And then yesterday they called her up and were like, hey, so how did you come up with this person? And, can you show us how you did this? All right. And then today they, asked another question, like, how did you get this? Could you, so it's sort of interesting that they're showing interest in what, because it is one of the people that's been mentioned out there. So it's pretty, normally that kind of stuff, I just go, yeah, I'm not really. But when I did it also with Photoshop, and it was pretty amazing how perfectly everything lines up. Even the mouth is in the right place, the eyes. As soon as the brightness of the lights, you put it right in the center of the iris on both sides, and then even the eyebrows are in the right spot, everything. And his head's just slightly turned. So if you did actually straighten his head out, it would match even better with the eyebrows. Because, in the one that they show us, it's slightly turned to the right. But hey, guys, here we are again. If you guys are out there, if you guys could help support the channel tonight, I think that'd be great. This is our last normal night until tomorrow, which is our donation night. So we got to have another good night going into that. So if you have the ability to, that would be fantastic. Thank you. Started off with a couple, and then it just went. I can't. I'm not going to show it to you because it shows the person, so I can't show it to you. I know other channels would show it to you irresponsibly. No, it's not. Sweet Lorraine, don't try. I'm not. You're not going to know what it is. All right. I'm just telling you that it's interesting, and they seem interested too. Now it seems like who's getting a hold of her are the Pima County investigators. So I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, it's interesting that they followed up twice on one particular thing. And I guess if that person ends up being arrested, I mean, it's weird too. It is kind of strange, like to have everything match up so well, like where the nose, you can see part of the nose, the eyebrows and everything like that. It's interesting to say the least, especially with them showing interest in it. Am I a pilot? What do you mean? No. Are you wondering about this stuff right here? Is that why you're asking that? Or these are just, this is the blue line here last night was the route that Fox News drove precisely in their video, which is pretty interesting. I mean, just that they actually drove right by where the surveillance was. Thank you, Judge No More. I don't know. I just like maps because mapping is a huge part of true crime that a lot of people ignore. they like the drama angle and start talking about, ooh, hey, what's her name said this and so said that and blah, blah, blah. That almost never has any relevance in a case. But when you put the mapping in and you're showing timing and locations and things like that, it really makes a huge difference. Okay, here we go. Let me see if I can do it. Okay. All right, if you look out your right-hand window right now, you know, say the Cascade Mountains with the... I don't know. Let's see. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Hey. 1. Testing 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I don't know which one it is. It sounded like a pilot earlier. Yeah. All right, so what are the updates? I have a folder here. And then we'll look at that other, whatever somebody sent me later. All right, so this is something that I saw. This lady right here, who's not ugly. Yeah, so apparently the FBI is dismissing this. Nancy Grace is talking about, oh man, this is huge. But if the FBI is already dismissing it, then that... See, here's what I was telling you guys yesterday. Oh, you can't hear? That's not it. You can't hear, huh? What would that be? Let me go look in here. Hold on. Let me play it. I'll just play it. Yeah, weird. Let me go over here then. Yeah, it's there. Oh yeah, is it the? There it is. Echo cancellation. There you go. I always got to remember that first. Hey, look at that! Wild Bill Wassman's doing a challenge right off the chute. Out of the chute, everybody! If we can get 5 gifted channel memberships by other people, he will donate 5 himself. All right. That would be awesome. Thanks, Wild Bill Wassman. All right, here we go.
FBI says it is moving
its
intel command post here in Tucson to Phoenix, about an hour and a half away, to its headquarters there, and that's coming as this investigation now enters week 5. But they are making clear that while there will be fewer boots on the ground here in Tucson in the area, the total number of agents...
I know what it is. Hold on. I got a app, because that was on, it probably adjusted my audio dramatically. Yeah, look at that. Jeez, look how stupid that is. Can you see that, you guys? 38%. I mean, just stupid. All right, so let's start over. Here we go. Here we go, everybody.
The FBI says it is moving its intel command post here in Tucson to Phoenix, about an hour and a half away, to its headquarters there, and that's coming as this investigation now enters week 5. But they are making clear that while there will be fewer boots on the ground here in Tucson in the area, the total number of agents working on the case remains the same and is still running at full speed ahead. And this also comes as the FBI is now dismissing this new Ring camera video uncovered from a home about 2.5 miles away from Nancy Guthrie's house, showing a car passing at the time, aligning with the time of Nancy's disappearance in the early morning hours of February 1st. A source connected to the investigation telling TMZ the FBI has looked at the video and says it's a, quote, dead end. But NBC...
So the FBI saw that and it's a dead end.
He's also reporting that 5,000 to 10,000 hours of video is currently being processed by authorities for any
Wow, 5,000 to 10,000 hours.
breaks in the...
Hey, do you guys see that up there? We had Wild Bill Wassman do a challenge. We so far just have alley cakes, so we need 4 more people to donate 1 channel membership to somebody else out there, and then he'll donate 5 all by himself, so it's 2 for 1.
The case, which of course will take time. And here at Nancy's home, it is extra quiet this morning with the authorities releasing her house back to the family after they walked through it the other day. And we could see workers arriving yesterday to prepare the home
so
for
they're putting
a possible
cameras
family
on.
to return. Someone was installing and repairing surveillance cameras on the house yesterday, but with still...
So hold on, let me go look. I think that one. That's got to be just right there. Yeah, that's the grass, the patio, and everything. So he's putting a new camera on, one right in this spot. That wasn't there before. Hey, there's Ann Dunlop and Rock Girl Media. There's 3.
No suspects or any clue where the 84-year-old grandmother is. So many people want to help. And yesterday I caught up with the incident commander for the United Cajun Navy, who is here on the ground in Tucson offering the group's expert resources.
We've donated to them before, too.
To the Pima County.
I just don't know how they're going to help, on this type of search. They're good at, like, in the water kind of stuff, I don't know.
County Sheriff's Office.
Here just to provide some support, to be a force multiplier, boots on the ground. Again, we want to work very closely with the
I guess they do search, look around on foot and stuff like that.
Sheriff's Department and law enforcement, but I feel that our resources as well as our experience can be very helpful, especially with something that's gone on for so long.
And here's the Sheriff's Department's response. We reached out to them yesterday to the offer. They say,
all right, guys, we need 2 more gifted channel memberships.
quote, we are grateful and appreciate their concern and their willingness to help. And we asked that they send all tips to the tip lines identified. We'll have more information on that and
I think she needs to do some more reporting.
more from our...
She's probably the prettiest of every single person that's done these reporting, in my opinion.
Our interview with him coming up in the next hour. So
got that one, and here we go. All right, not that that has any relevance at all. Just saying. Creepy stranger arrested for driving past Nancy Guthrie's home up to 100 times while staring at photos of Savannah's kidnapped mom. Hey, thanks, Miss Kyla. I don't know, Brian. Jesus. Ugh, man, let's see. A man is said to have been arrested after he allegedly drove past Nancy Guthrie's home 100 times while staring at an image of the missing woman on his phone. The unidentified stranger was stopped by law enforcement after reporters spotted him driving very slowly past the property in Tucson, Arizona, late Thursday night, according to News Nation. Correspondent Brian Enton said the man drove his blue SUV up to the memorial outside the 84-year-old's home and just kept stopping, passing between 50 and 100 times. A media photographer who approached the individual reportedly noticed he had a photo of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie's missing mother on his phone. I think this is just some crazy drunk person. But hey, guys, we need one more. We need one more gifted membership. Officers with the Pima County, for this latest challenge here. Officers with the Pima County Sheriff's Department then stopped him outside the home and questioned him for about 20 minutes, according to Enton, who said he believed police were trying to get a translator to communicate with the driver. The man was handcuffed on a DUI charge after he failed a sobriety test, Enton allegedly, or that he alleged in a follow-up video. It's weird. There's some just creepy people that come by. Well, maybe they think you're creepy. You know what I mean? Let me ask you guys something. If you live there, wouldn't you think every one of these clowns that sit there day in and day out on a vigil are creepy people? That just sit there? I mean, how come they're not as creepy? This guy drove by 100 times. You've been there 100 different times every single day. You know, of course, this guy had a drink and was, had a picture. But, man, I just think it's weird to call this guy, these other people are creepy, but we're not. The way I can tell you that some of the people that live stream are creepy as hell that are there, okay? That's the truth. But like to make that kind of comment, it's weird. There's some just like creepy people that come by, the journalist said. The Daily Mail contacted the Pima County Sheriff's Department, and thanks up there to Wild Bill Wassman, Crowley 13, Curtis West, and Mike Spam, and everybody else up there that got to that challenge number 1. Thank you. I'm just saying, I don't think anybody that's standing out there day in and day out, staring at a home for a month, should be calling anybody else weird, Nancy was last seen on January 31st after attending. Authorities have been on the case. Her Today Show host daughter and her siblings have made several pleas. Yeah, we've seen all this stuff. Now, let me go to the next one here. I think this lady was pretty interesting.
You're not seeing anything. That's or so after, or to erase his digital footprint. The fact that
what she's making the kind of the Kohberger argument where how Brian Kohberger's lack of DNA, not DNA, lack of like his phone pinging, etc. It went dark during a specific time, and that's important. Maybe they can find some people whose phone was in the area on other dates, but then on that date, when you look them up, I think that would be really interesting, because it is very likely, unless they learn from the Kohberger case, that even on your surveillance trips, you got to leave your phone at home. If they did that, man, there's no way to do that. But if they took the phone with them on their surveillance missions, driving around, their phone's pinging, if they can find any phone that was in the area pinging, I would say, on various nights from, 10 to 2 in the morning, I would look at every single car or any phone that pinged in the area, maybe even 4 in the morning, so like 10 to 4. And then any car that was sort of multiple times, and then you look out where they live, and if they don't live in the area, there's really not a great reason that you'd be driving out there unless you just happen to have a friend that lived there. And then you would look them up, and then you'd see, okay, now on that night, what was their phone doing? Oh, it was turned off. Okay, wow, that's interesting. Right?
murder, his phone was turned off, and then within like 40 minutes or so after it was turned back on, kind of gave us that tunnel to look down here. This is why you're not seeing anything.
In this case in particular, we have not heard anything. And by this case,
I know it's pretty amazing.
Case, we have not heard anything.
Read what Notorious Nance just said. This is just totally true. You know.
Of the cell tower dump, of any digital forensics, but you know, with the Kohberger case in mind, what kind of stuff are they looking for, and what kind of stuff might they find that could help them here?
A few things that immediately come to mind, especially when I think back of what Jared and I looked at for Idaho.
Right.
First and foremost, pattern of behavior is huge. And why his phone being off in those hours was so damning against him. One, he was awake. He manually, it was a user requested power off. The logs show the truth of all this. His phone was at 100%, and then it pinged a tower when he turned it back on, which put him in Idaho and not in Washington.
By
where he
Blaine.
lived. So all of that was a beautiful painted picture. For Nancy Guthrie, I have heard people make claims that even when a phone is turned off, it still pings towers, which is not true. So if the FBI and investigators got cell phone pings, which we've all read and heard that they did. They're
Hey,
obviously
by the way, everybody just take a moment right here and put some positive vibes out there for Notorious Nance going through some medical stuff now. So if you guys can put some of those freak hearts out there, let her know that you're rooting for her, cheering her on. I think that'd be great. All right. She's a really cool person too. I've met her 2 or 3 times on two different cases out in the Beaverton area. Let's see. I see Gray on Court TV. What's cool is I actually heard from Misty Watterson. Remember her? Allison Watterson's mom. Her favorite show is Court TV. So every time I'm on there, she'll send me, not every time, but she'll send an email saying, "Oh man, I'm so proud of you, Gray." Yes. Even though I'm probably way older than she is, but it's pretty cool. All right. Hey, thanks for those little positive vibes out there.
obviously looking for pattern of behavior. What is normal? What was in that area during the time when Nancy was kidnapped? All of those things come to play. Now, if the person prepped, they wouldn't ping that tower. But if they went ahead of time and scoped it out or planned...
See? Did you leave your phone on? Maybe.
And then you can also
Yeah, I mean, I don't like when people use words like that. You would have. Because that means you're just implying that without a doubt, he was not smart enough to realize that even on the surveillance missions, you should leave your phone at home as well.
Kidnapped, all of those things come to play. Now, if the person prepped, they wouldn't ping that tower. But if they went ahead of time and scoped it out or planned, they would have.
Well, you don't know
And then
if
you can
he
also
would
look
have.
for
He possibly
entry and
could
exit,
have. Yeah.
and then proximity pings, because eventually you're going to turn your phone back on. So that is one thing with the pings. The other thing is people make mistakes. Did they really turn it off? Was their device only in airplane mode? How did they know where they were going? So thinking of different settings on the device will really help when a suspect comes into mind. And when they actually have a phone of a suspect, I hope that they call me. I hope. I want to help, and I want to say, look here, look here, look here. Because
I mean, see, I think that's cool. And she's probably somebody that they would call, you know what I mean?
the loudest
Must be a neat
evidence can be
feeling.
the lack of evidence.
So, it's interesting about the airplane mode thing. Like, we don't know who the guy is yet, or even if it's just one person, and we don't know the situation of their phones. But
This
if
is on
they
Fox
were
News,
carrying
yeah.
a phone and it's in airplane mode, that's still useful to you guys. So how does that work?
When your device is in airplane mode, here's a good example. I created a CTF for Celebrate, and I put my device in airplane mode when I fly because we're supposed to, and I try to follow the rules. But when I dumped my device looking for data to compare to Brian Koberger's Android, I saw that my device updated in Denver. So even though it was in airplane mode, it still knew when I was hitting time zone changes. It's still pinging towers. It is still reaching out for a signal. It's not fully shut down. With Brian Koberger, he disabled cellular, disabled Wi-Fi, and turned off his phone. That is extreme measures to not have a digital footprint. So he really took all the steps, but still made a mistake. So we hope
So his phone was completely dark. Like, it didn't connect to anything.
Nancy Guthrie, that whoever has her made a mistake.
Which is
and that they
damning
can
in
uncover that
itself.
footprint.
Nobody does that.
Now, we know that they looked at the cell tower data, and that's going to be different from the stuff you guys look at. So, you're not going to see anything until they actually have a suspect and look at their phone. But what kind of clues in the cell tower data could lead them to someone so, you would have a chance to check on the phone? I mean,
Oh yeah, that's a fantastic question. And back to Idaho again.
Let's see.
You're not going to see anything until they actually have a suspect and look at their phone. But what kind of clues in the cell tower data could lead them to someone so, you would have a chance to check on the phone? I mean,
Oh yeah, that's a fantastic
Let's see if it matches what I was saying a minute ago.
question. And back to Idaho again. Jared and I dealt directly with the FBI CAS team, and they're the ones that get the cell towers and they find the gaps. And without them, we probably wouldn't have stumbled upon the log file that we did when they told us, hey, there was a dark period where he wasn't pinging anything during this time. It's kind of weird. So the communication is key. If investigators aren't talking, forensics isn't going to make sense. You need everyone involved to paint the entire picture because there's so many different specialties. Typically when these pings come in, they will say, okay, this many devices were in this area at this time. Also think about the time of night when that is. In her neighborhood, I have a friend that lives close by. She went there and she said one cell service is terrible in that area, which isn't great, but you still will likely ping towers. It's also very dark. It seems like it's an older generation that typically lives in there, so they're mostly asleep. So I assume there's not going to be a huge, hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, there you go. See, that's what I was saying.
Phones. So once they have that, they can contact the network service providers and track back to actual individuals.
Yeah, there you go. See?
And they're going to be, if everybody's asleep, they're going to be the phones that are moving, right? So they can narrow it down even more.
Yeah, it's just any phone late at night. I mean, obviously not one surveillance we just saw. There was 12 motions in a 5-hour period on that one busier kind of road. So I would think on her road, if you could somehow do that, I mean, it'd be great if, it'd be really cool on the data dumps is instead of you should be able to combine multiple towers to triangulate and only get specific cell phones that are in a much tighter range. I would do that. It'd be cool if you could do that originally. So let's say you had 2 towers and it would tell you, let's say there's 3 cell phone towers and you know how the triangulation works, right? So each cell tower, let's say there's 3 sides on each one. So it would be this sector on one tower, this sector on another tower, this sector on another tower. And then you would only do ones where they sort of overlap on all, inside of that. What? But hey guys, after the challenge up there, we went absolutely dead. And the only way to reach the goals is if during the show, people are supporting the channel throughout the show. And we've just, hit one of those massive lulls again. So if you guys have the ability to help support the channel, that would be great. We're just kind of trying to keep the momentum going into the last day. This is the last normal day. Tomorrow is our donation night, which we have a pusher at the beginning of the show, one last wave at the beginning of the show, or lately we've had to kind of keep going throughout the whole show, and then we donate near the end. But I'm trying to get to where we can donate $5,000 total dollars. We've already done 2, so trying to do another 3. So see if we can get some support in here. Like Mike Spam, or Mike's Pam, or Mike's PAM. All right, thanks. Appreciate it. Oh, yes, we're still here.
There's 2 other devices involved in this that we know of, right? That's the Nest camera that was taken off of her front porch, which presumably the Wi-Fi was on, and Nancy's pacemaker, which they sent the Bluetooth sniffer device to fly around and try to find it.
Yes.
Unfortunately, with no luck. But with those 2 devices, one is Bluetooth, one is Wi-Fi. Are there any clues that, as they were taken from the scene, that they could have provided for investigators?
If we had a suspect to consider, it is likely that their phone will ping and almost have an acknowledgement, that's a good word for it, an acknowledgement of Nancy's home Wi-Fi, potentially even her Bluetooth. So I have no idea with the technology. I assume the Bluetooth of her pacemaker is set strictly for her device. And that's why Dave Kennedy released his research saying, hey, he knows it's going to be pinging and beaconing out every minute for so many seconds. But I assume it's not going to reach out to other people's devices, but it could. So that's another way that could be linked to the person. But I think the Wi-Fi is
So I'm
huge.
trying to get
So if you
the,
come into my house right now, Michael, you will see my home Wi-Fi. Whether you're trying to connect to it or not, your phone knows
yeah.
that it exists just in case.
I was going to show you
want
guys
to connect.
the how that would work.
So that could be the biggest thing is this: the guy took the Nest Cam. We think he took the Nest camera. It's not there anymore, right? So
Yep. And so even Delphi, go back to like
I'm gonna
Delphi.
go back a little
that
bit.
we know
I want
of,
to hear
right?
this.
That's the Nest
Hey,
camera.
thanks, Kyoto Mom.
Taken off of her front porch, which presumably the Wi-Fi was on, and Nancy's pacemaker, which they sent the Bluetooth sniffer device to fly around and try to find it.
Yes.
Unfortunately, with no luck. But with those two devices, one is Bluetooth, one is Wi-Fi. Are there any clues that as they were taken from the scene, that they could have provided for investigators?
If we had a suspect to consider, it is likely that their phone will ping and almost have an acknowledgement. That's a good word for it. An acknowledgement of Nancy's home Wi-Fi, potentially even her Bluetooth. So I have no idea with the technology. I assume the Bluetooth of her pacemaker is set strictly for her device. And that's why Dave Kennedy released his research saying, hey, he knows it's going to be pinging and beaconing out every minute for so many seconds. But I assume it's not going to reach out to other people's devices, but it could. So that's another way that could be linked to the person. But I think the Wi-Fi is huge. So if you come into my house right now, Michael, you will see my home Wi-Fi. Whether you're trying to connect to it or not, your phone knows that it exists just in case you want to connect.
So that could be the biggest thing is the guy took the Nest Cam. We think he took the Nest camera. It's not there anymore, right? So
Yep. And so even Delphi, go back to like Delphi murders. That was one of the things that I recommended to the FBI is what if the person of interest who killed Libby and Abby actually pinged one of their devices? Like what if their device saw it? And it could be called bad guy's iPhone, but it could be called Michael Ruiz's iPhone, like you don't know. Most people call their phone something normal, unless you're my husband and you call your phone a glass of bourbon. He's an icon, which is crazy. But we would know it was Jared Barnhart if we saw that bourbon. So one thing I didn't hear a lot of is...
Yeah, so the whole thing of like a cell tower, the ones that have 4 sides, a lot of times they're just 3. So they're 120, 120, 120. And then there's ones that are 90, 90, 90, 90. So the way cell towers work is, let's say this right here is a car and it's driving, and so this side right there, let's see, I think it goes out kind of like it does 90 90 90 90 90, right? But let's just say that side right there, when it's driving by, this one kind of detects right there, right? And then as it gets closer to this one, right, it's driving, this one may have picked it up for a moment, but as soon as it gets past that 90 degrees, this plane right there picks up the tower. So first it picked it up on that sector, and then it picked them up on this sector as it's driving like this, and then this one also may have picked it up. So now you can see that it's, okay, here it comes, this one, and then this one here maybe picks it up. And then let's say he drives like that, then this one picks it up, and this one. Does that explain that pretty good? I mean, I know it's kind of a weird looking drawing, but it seems like it's pretty simple to understand like that. So it seems like if you had a car driving through, you might be able to say, okay, that car hit here and here, so they're likely inside this area, And then you just get those phones, the ones that drove right by Nancy's house.
Any feedback on license plate readers? We know there's no way with her mobility issues that she was on foot, like traveling into the woods.
Like, look, I can do this now.
Look at no way.
Isn't that cool?
So there has to be a vehicle involved with license plate readers, and either the person lives very close nearby and that license plate is seen frequently, or nothing jumped out. So that is something that I'm interested in. Did investigators actually look at that? There's a lot of privacy concerns about passive collection. on the camera. And I will always stand by this. Do you want to be free or do you want to be safe? And I know right now people are like, oh no, we want our
random
parents to be
bogey.
safe.
Can
and
you
we
type
don't want
something
things
that
like
makes
this
sense
to
just
happen
one time?
to that generation. But you should assume your phone, like I just said, is looking for my Wi-Fi. If you're in my house, your microphone is listening so you can get ads all the time. Your cameras will passively collect events that they see. And it's for, I shouldn't say it's for security purposes. It's how it's designed to function. When you bring an electronic into your life, it's going to do what it's designed to do. And if you don't like that, you need to get a flip phone, disconnect all cameras from your house. But also you can't be sad when something occurs and you wish you had technology to help you track all that bourbon.
I want to hear this
One
last
thing
part.
I didn't hear a lot of is any feedback on license plate readers. We know there's no way with her mobility issues that she was on foot, like traveling into the woods.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, she got
It's
put
like
into a
Elizabeth
car
Smart or
and driven
something.
away.
No way. So there has to be a vehicle involved with license plate readers, and either the person lives very close nearby and that license plate is seen frequently, or nothing jumped out. So that is something that I'm interested in. Did investigators actually look at that? There's a lot of privacy concerns about passive collection on the camera. And I will always stand by this. Do you want to be free or do you want to be safe? And I know right now.
But it is free. You only should worry if there's something that you did. Okay? Like, that's the same thing with surveillance cameras. I think it's crazy when people go, I don't want a surveillance camera on that street, you bet. Well, the only people that think that way are ones that might be up to no good, because all these cameras do, like the ones in Europe, England, UK, whatever, they just film, and then when something happens, they can go back and see what happened. They're not sitting there going, ooh, look at it, it's Cindy over there, ooh, look at that, and they follow them around. It just never happens, okay? All right, who's going to do the next challenge in here, you guys? We're really struggling again. We're just only at a third of the nightly goals, so let's see what we can do.
People are like, oh no, we want our parents to be safe and we don't want things like this to happen to that generation. But you should assume your phone, like I just said, is looking for my Wi-Fi. If you're in my house, your microphone is listening so you can get ads all the time. Your cameras will passively collect events that they see. And it's for, I shouldn't say it's for security purposes. It's how it's designed to function. When you bring an electronic into your life, it's going to do what it's designed to do. And if you don't like that, you need to get a flip phone, disconnect all cameras from your house. But also you can't be sad.
I'm all for surveillance footage, and I wish I think everybody should do Jed Match, and we can get criminals and bad people off the streets. It seems like people who don't want to get the bad people off the streets are the ones always fighting, and they're kind of wondering if they're themselves are a criminal. Because if you're not, you just literally wouldn't care,
When something occurs and you wish you had technology to help you track the criminal.
Yeah, you've typed the same thing in 5 different times, Rick, so we're going to have to get rid of you now. Yeah. See you later, man. Maybe come back another day when your brain's functioning. All right, let's see. Okay, got rid of that one. I thought that was pretty interesting, Nancy Guthrie, FBI gathers more video and tips as search nears 1 month. We still believe in a miracle, Savannah Guthrie said in a video this week, announcing a $1 million reward for her 84-year-old mother's recovery. We also know that she may be lost. She may already be gone. I think that's a pretty good chance at this point. There's been no... If she was alive, there would be some sort of outreach to somebody, and maybe would have put her somewhere, allow her to be found somewhere. But that's not happening. I mean, I guess the thing you hope for is that somebody that she knew and they're keeping her alive, and they're just not sure what they can do with her because she would identify them, which is not good. But you know, I just don't think there's a really good chance that. I mean, I hope she's still alive. It just doesn't seem like it at this point. Yeah, hey, you guys, I don't know if you heard what I said, but we need to get the support up. Every night I have to do the same thing and ask 1,700 times, and that's the part that just eats me alive. I hate it. I just want people to feel like supporting the channel, because you guys know what we do here, and to keep channels like mine around who actually do true crime the correct way, they need support every single night from the people watching the live streams, because there's no ad revenue to speak of. All right, so if you guys have the ability to gift channel memberships, etc., that would be great. It doesn't seem like anybody's even involved in the conversation in here either, because this dipshit Rick2 commented about 5 minutes ago, and there's only 3 comments after that. All right. We still believe in a miracle. We still believe that she can come home, the Today Show co-host said. We also know that she may be lost. She may already be gone. If this is what is to be, then we will accept it, Savannah Guthrie added. But we need to know where she is. Nancy Guthrie was last seen at around 9:45 p.m. on January 31st when she was dropped off at her home in the Catalina foothills north of Tucson, Arizona, by family members following dinner, police said. She was reported missing around noon the next day after she did not show up at a friend's house to watch an online church service. Hey, look at that. We got a challenge by Lisa Valenzuela, who said that if we get 5 gifted memberships, she'll do 5 coffees, which is, pretty good deal. Hey, thanks. Elpis Trapped. Elpis Trapped. Maybe that's supposed to be Elvis. Let's see. Okay, there's one. We got Allie Cake. Got 1. We need 4 more of those. Gifted memberships. Looks like we got another one by Wild Bill Wassman. Authorities are still waiting on results from analysis of partial DNA recovered. If they can even separate it, that's the key. Maybe they sent it to Parabon, because apparently they're pretty good at that, but I think so is Othram. It's just, I don't know if, I see the difficulty in separating DNA, though. Man, it just seems like, man, what a brutal thing that would be to have to try to do. How do you know which segment goes with what DNA if you don't have a reference to bounce off, Hey, thank you, Coyote Mom. Now, let's see what they got down here for their timeline kind of ends right there. It stops syncing with their Apple devices at 2:28. Let's see. How far from a pacemaker can you be before it stops syncing with your phone? All right, we need 2 more gifted memberships. To avoid interface and potential rare disruption, pacemaker FDA and manufacturers recommend keeping phones at least 6 inches away from the implant. Who the hell wants to have their phone 6 inches from the implant? What do you gotta strap it to your chest? Who the hell came up with that one? Keeping phones at least 6 inches away from the implant. Using a phone on the opposite ear. Oh wait, are you talking about what are they referring to here? with a pacemaker. Man, I don't really understand that. It says 6 inches up right here. I'm looking at it. And even here on CBS News, it said that from 2021, totally unrelated. 6 inches. Okay, let's see. Canon Apple Watch. Hey guys, we got 3 gifted memberships. We're trying to reach that challenge up there, so we need 2 more. Can an Apple Watch extend the range of a pacemaker? Okay, so I guess it can't. In fact, the magnets and electromagnetic fields, Apple Watches and their chargers can interfere with pacemakers, potentially causing... Okay, so maybe she had a station or something at home. I've heard that. You know, those little, like a pacemaker station. Hey, thank you, Sasquatch. Yeah, let's... All I have is Chewbacca, but... It kind of looks like Sasquatch, though.
Chewbacca?
I'll be Chewbacca if you want me to. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, that little... okay. Do pacemakers have a home... Let's see, like, what do you call that thing? Like, have a... Like a base... device in home? I don't even know what you would call it, but let's see. Yes, most modern pacemakers use a base station or monitor in the home for remote monitoring. Okay, so when we call that a base station, then maybe we can go get that. How far from a pacemaker base station can a phone be? And still... But that's weird because they're saying that you're... Okay. I mean, I gotta ask another question. What communicates to the base station when wearing a pacemaker? Pacemakers use radio frequencies or Bluetooth to send encrypted automatic alerts to a bedside monitor, which then relays data via their telephone lines. Oh, wow. Okay. So this is different than how I was perceiving it. Which then relays data via telephone lines or cellular networks to your doctors. So basically, your Bluetooth in your pacemaker connects to this device in your home, and then that device connects to your phone and then sends out a signal. So your phone has almost no bearing on this disconnection thing that happened. Or maybe it does. Let's see. What community? No, because it seems like, okay, how close do you have to be to... How close to a pacemaker base station? Do you guys, can we get the last gifted membership up there to reach the challenge, please? Pacemaker home monitoring base stations should typically be placed at a nightstand or table within 3 meters or 10 feet of where the patient sleeps to function correctly. For other electronic devices, a safe distance of at least 6 inches is recommended to avoid electromagnetic interference. Hey, thanks, Sassy Squatch. Man, it's gonna be another one of these tough ones where people are just like, yeah, 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 yeah. All right. Hey, thank you. Oh, and thanks, Michelle H. there. Very cool. Ideally, the monitor should be within 10-foot range of the bed for automatic data transmission. Okay, so then I guess what role does an Apple Watch or phone play in the transmission of data from a pacemaker base station? That's pretty interesting, actually. Hey, thanks so much, you guys. Thanks, Michelle H. and Sassy Squatch, and thanks to Lisa Valenzuela. Apple Watches and smartphones can serve as the primary gateway for transmitting data from a pacemaker to a doctor, replacing traditional stationary... See, look, now it's different, for God's sakes. Replacing the traditional stationary bedside monitors. Through manufacturers' apps, these mobile devices collect data. Deeper dive. Okay, let me ask questions then. Okay, in this case, how far away from a cell phone or watch can the patient be? Maximum transmission rate is 3 to 5 feet. For the mobile app to... Okay, so either way, I guess we can just look at it like this. Either way, she had to be... it was 10 feet is the maximum distance if she had either her cell phone, etc. But it says right here that you don't need the... I mean, so it's interesting. So does it, what I really want to know also is, can a watch synced with a phone extend the range in a house? The range of communicating with the base. No, a watch synced with a phone cannot extend the range of the pacemaker's communication. In fact, adding a watch to the setup does not change the physical Bluetooth range required between your body and the receiving device. I see. So, well, I mean, I guess it's the phone's Bluetooth needs to be able to connect to the pacemaker. The maximum distance for a successful sync remains roughly 3 to 10 feet. Oh, wow. So that just really answers the question. So that means in the house over here, let's just do some measuring here with this. So we can go from here to there. I'm going to do it on the ground out here. And that is 57 feet. So let me show you what 10 feet is, you guys. I'll make it thick so you can see it. And I'll change it to maybe red. So that's 10 feet right there. See that distance, that line that you can see just right there? So that means if her room was over here, for example, And so when it disconnected, she could have still been in the house, you know. So while she was in the house, I think when at 2:28, her pacemaker quit syncing with her phone, or, you know, they say phone, or it could be the base. It doesn't really matter. It's 3 to 10 feet. That's when it disconnected. So while she's being moved, she's probably not even out the door yet when it stopped syncing. Isn't that crazy? So she could have actually been brought out that front door at more like 2:29, 2:30-ish, something like that. I think it's just sort of to monitor, you know, send, like, while you're sleeping, they can look at it and go, oh, you look like you're doing okay, you know. But I don't think it's meant to be an alert system. Based generally, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it sends stuff out, but they're really, you know. I don't know, I thought that was a pretty interesting little discussion there with that AI, because that really, it's been kind of confusing, but it did say that you can have a base, or you can use your cell phone as the base if you have a certain app on there. But you still have to have your phone, has to be within 10 feet of you at all times. So probably when she went to sleep, she charged the phone and it would be communicating with it right next to her bed there. She took her watch off. The watch apparently has no significance whatsoever related to the pacemaker. So the watch was just charging. It would have helped, like if her watch happened to be on, you know, maybe that would have been able to track her if there's location signals being sent from the watch. I don't know how. Usually it's the cell phone, but. Let's see. Man. I'm not really confused by the case. We just don't know what the motive is. You know? It's just like, oh, okay, this is probably, you know, they went in the house and got her out the front door, but what was the purpose of it? You know, did she get taken out of the house for a ransom, and then that went wrong, and so now they're just like, shit, what do we do now? If we show where she is, they'll get us on murder charges. We didn't really ever mean for her to die. We just wanted to get a ransom. So now it's a much bigger situation, so they're in cover-up mode. Or it was somebody who went in there. I think, I am 100% convinced that the person went into the house to abduct Nancy Guthrie. So then you got to say, well, why did that happen? Was she taken out there to be killed as some sort of a hired plot? Was she taken out for a ransom gone wrong? Or was she taken out just to make it look like it was a ransom, and this person's just one of those sick killers out there just to kind of, you know, see the reaction by people out there? I do a Holter monitor at one point. I have kind of an irregular heartbeat. I do some crazy tests when I was a kid, you know. After my brother died, I think I was 20 years old. They put me in, I was in the hospital for a week doing these tests, and they put these electrodes into my heart, and then they would put me on different medications every day, and then they would shock my heart in these crazy rhythms, and they wanted to see if, when on that medication, was it dangerous for me, and they would try to put my heart into a fatal rhythm with these stupid, and then right next to the bed right there would be these paddles. In case they couldn't get me back with the little knobs they had, they would go, you know. It was like, it's so funny because I remember about 20 years later, I mean, that doctor's still around, believe it or not. Like, he still does the same. He's one of the best in the world at heart rhythm stuff. And he told me, he goes, man, what we did to you back then was barbaric. Hey, good to know, man. Good to know. Yeah. It's pretty weird. Right, man, what's the deal with all the massive lulls in here tonight? This is how it makes it very tough, and then we just have to keep asking and pushing and saying, hey, guys, can we help support the channel? Just want to have one of those nights where I don't have to do that. Just one. Can we do that? Yeah, no, it was weird, you know. So they put me on different meds, and then they go put the rhythm in where it goes da 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 da. Okay, this one ding 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 ding. You know, it was just crazy. You get kind of dizzy sitting there. It was a weird feeling. Yeah, kind of like was a test dummy. Yeah, it was freaky every single day. That's for damn sure. You know. Let's see. The FBI reported more than 1,500 tips have come in since Savannah Guthrie announced the reward to find her missing mother. Earlier this week, Savannah made her public plea asking for help to find her mom. She may be lost. She may already be gone. Well, there's no lost. There's no lost. There's no maybe lost or anything like that. I mean, I guess if the people that kidnapped her threw her in the mountains somewhere and, you know, it's just, that doesn't really make a lot of sense. If this is what is to be, then we will accept it. But we need to know where she is. We need her to come home. See how she said we need her to come home. We will accept it. That's she's saying right there. We will accept that she's not alive, but we need her to come home. That's the exact same wording she used in the second one that she said. It's exactly the same. Hey, look at that. Misfit Bumble said, match me challenge. She's trying to get a match me going. Probably would have worked better the other way around if you'd said, but she's trying after the fact anyways. Thanks, Misfit Bumble. And that's crazy, Wild Bill Watson. Glad you made it out of that. Well, her challenge is match me challenge. Like if she'd said, if you guys send in 20, I'll send in 20. That might now, but it's after the fact. It's okay though. I appreciate it. The Apple Watch only connected to her other vital numbers, which the Apple Watch just connected and showed work with what? We don't know what the hell the watch said. All we know is it disconnected at 2:28 and needs to be she needs to be physically within 3 to 10 feet from her phone or the station if she had that for it to connect. Yeah, dehydration, yeah. Probably electrolytes and shit like that. Yeah. I mean, that was our original one, was some sort of inheritance thing. I mean, you got to admit, it is interesting that they still have the family member's vehicle and they've got it. That's a weird thing. That they still have that thing. Because if they've been totally cleared like they said. Remember when the sheriff said, no, we've cleared the family, everybody. We've cleared them. We've cleared them. Then why do you have the car still? You know? You know, if you cleared them, you just give the car back because they're cleared. The car has nothing to do with anything, right? I mean, what relevance would the vehicle have at that point once you cleared them? So what you really is that they weren't cleared. Well, well, I don't know. You can say whatever you want, Lisa Valenzuela. We don't know who it was, okay? I think it is crazy that they cleared the family, yet they still have the car. Can you square away those two? Square that away with me. That they've already cleared the family, but they have the car. Right. I mean, maybe, yeah, sure. Maybe it's just really shoddy investigation. But Misfit Bumble up there tried for a reverse challenge. If anybody wants to meet her challenge up there, that'd be cool. I don't know. I just think that's weird. In a case where they've already cleared them. I mean, what did they say to the family? Oh, thank you for clearing us. Can we get our car back? Nah, you know. We're just not really sure. Doesn't make sense. Might have been said to make somebody feel comfortable. Mm-hmm. Because they're not really good people, Drone. I guess you don't really understand it. Guess you'll have to go somewhere else. See you later, man. You're way late to the show. And it's just not appreciated. I mean, we talked about that like an hour ago, man. Why don't you go do something else? Hey, thanks, Wild Bill Wassman. And I think they're just as creepy. What we were commenting about, if you paid attention, troll, is that drone life. If you would hear paying attention, you'd see that those are the same people that were calling the guy creepy that was driving around, and all these other cars and people that come by that are creepy, when they're just as creepy as they are. You know what I mean? Just every day. Standing watch over a house with nobody there, hoping to God a car drives by so they can have this huge conversation. Oh, a car drives by, a car pulled up to the house, oh my God. Oh, it's a janitor. Ah, shit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems like there might have been something in the car. For sure. All right, I'm just going to go to the, see what that one was that I was sent. Tired cop. Okay, like talks about what could have happened.
The older I get, the more attention I pay.
See, when somebody's a retired cop or a retired detective, I can just tell you they don't have a better perspective than anybody on this channel does. We've covered thousands of cases, and we're incredibly accurate, and I'd say even more accurate than the channels that have people of those, you know, their history. We've been way more accurate. They do conspiracy shit 90% of the time. It's crazy. But they try to word things in a way so they can spin and pivot back to something more rational when the truth comes out. Yeah.
What keeps
pretty
me
weird.
feeling capable. Not younger.
Hey guys, thanks so much for checking out my show.
You want to be that person
has segment. I've looked for burglary suspects there. This is happening at night. So in his waistband on scene. It's not.
What am I supposed to where am I looking at on this thing? You didn't tell me the time frame. He talks about the theory you threw out the other night. He doesn't say your name, but he thinks the person was dropped off and went in the back. Yeah. I'm telling you, these people watch my shows and they go, wow, that's pretty good. That all makes sense. And then they pretend that they came up with it. All right. It's just, it happens so often. And you can't, and the thing is, it's not just that it's a similar thing. It's like verbatim, so it isn't where, wow, two people just thought the same thing. It doesn't work that way.
And when I say soft target, it means someone who just can't really defend themselves, right? But the target itself, that's a really big risk that they're taking. So I don't understand
Coffee Slayer, but people
why
don't
it was
believe that
just
stuff.
their home. That seems to me to be somewhat suspicious. The ransom.
Where am I looking at? Okay, 38. Okay. All right, it's coming up.
It's such a good point, though. You're right. Like, even in my neighborhood, when people have come through, you see they go from door to door, or they check cars. Yes. It's not just like one specific house.
Oh yeah, and here's the thing. Like if based on my experience, knowing how burglars act, it would be really ballsy for someone to drive up to that home, park in the driveway, even though you can't see it from the road. Like, and I know that area. Like, you can't see your hand in front of your face at night unless it's a full moon. Full moon will give you some lighting. But to park your car up there right at the driveway is really risky, because what happens if the person inside the home hears the car? And
hey, this is all stuff I've
calls 911. So what typically happens is someone will get dropped off. Like if you look at her property and you look at their aerial surveillance and you look down, let's say her property is about an acre big. Half of that acre is fenced in. The other acre half isn't. So you have these parcels that basically kind of just flow into one another. So what will typically happen is burglars will dump someone off or leave a vehicle on another road. I think her I'm not sure, but I think her home is on the south side of the road, just based on video footage that I've seen.
This right here.
So
yeah, that's right.
Okay, so you can go to the road to the south, drop someone off, and that person can literally walk through all those homes completely undetected and come in from the back.
I'm just looking at, I'm out here now. I mean, it's really, and you know it better than me, but there's a lot of cactuses and just,
oh man,
there's stuff everywhere with thorns.
So like honestly, I found it comical to watch. I hate to say it, but if I found it comical to watch the feds walking around the home, because you could tell they're not comfortable in that environment.
Yeah,
that's true. This is what I heard.
Like you can't go 10 or 20 feet without getting prickly pear or cholla stuck in you. It's a really brutal environment. But if you want to commit a burglary, you'll find a way to walk through the desert. Like, I've seen it a whole bunch. I've had people run through prickly pear patches barefoot to escape apprehension. So like the will of someone who wants to commit a crime should never be underestimated. So like I think it's very plausible that they could have walked in from the south, going up north, or someone could literally just drop them off at the front of the house, and then they could just walked in and then call the vehicle in afterwards. Now,
but how does some regular Arizona burglar get away with this to the point where, you've got the FBI, you've got President Trump applying pressure, you've got literally every resource of the federal government, the signal sniffers, the way they found the camera video through Google, which I don't think has ever been done before. Like some just guy who's burglarizing the neighborhood has managed to outsmart everybody.
Let me just talk about the ransom and then how that connects.
Yeah.
I have found people like,
I don't know any more about the April case, Sherry.
On swatting.
You can go look it up on the internet, though.
calls where it's a fake SWAT call and they just
I read all the
turns
details.
into a call, but they just call in saying, "Oh, I've just killed someone," and then all the resources go. I have located through our own criminal investigations unit people through IP addresses through their gaming systems that get hacked. If we can find that, and they found the mope in California who wasn't sophisticated. The fact that the feds can't find who sent these emails, the wallet for
the Bitcoin,
for crypto, for the Bitcoin wallet, like
the Cash Patel wouldn't have
forward.
For example, like cell phones turned on and then turned off in that area. You know, you could go to Costco and get yourself a nice walkie-talkie, and someone can park a mile down the road, and you can still communicate with them. But I do think it's a mystery that, like, forensically, the digital evidence that we haven't been able to kind of snatch some sort of cell phone data.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're currently only at about 55% of a nightly goal, you guys. So if you have the ability to help support the channel, that would be great. I'm back to relegated to asking 100,000 times because we just don't seem to have any momentum. I'm not sure what else to do here. So here is the, in my video, that's when they're going to be exiting the home, and then I'll just have them disappear into the car, and then the car drives away. So I haven't done any extra on there yet. What happened there? Feel it. I don't have to. What happened there? I've been running this long process over here. No. I'm not going to watch that shit. And why did you advertise for a pile of crap like that? Thanks. Yeah, I mean, it could be. I'm just having him park right over here just to have a place to park. I don't know where the person parked, but they obviously weren't parked at the house. I don't think that they pulled into here. That'd be stupid. You're trapped. So they parked somewhere else and then eventually pulled into here after removing the camera, knowing that they're going to be parked right there to take Nancy out of the home. That's the only reason they removed the camera and tried to block it. God, people just, you know, you talk to them about something, then they send you 1,700 emails, theory after theory after theory, trying to, like, throw something out that I just don't have time to read all that, you know. Well, I don't know if anybody's interested in calling in. I'm in that discouraged mode again. It seems like the FBI doesn't believe that surveillance footage that came out is going to be relevant. So, I don't really know.
Good.
Yeah, it's getting close to a month. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. Weird. Okay. Yeah, done a very good job in analyzing.
Perfect.
Yeah.
This one.
There were a lot of cars driving around in the footage. Just that one, unless I was mistaken. Yeah, no, but there's only one that was important. You know, that would be, it was at 2:36, heading away from the crime scene, and just 8 minutes after her phone stopped connecting. So that was the only one that was worthwhile. Yeah, let's see if this one works. Let's see. Right, I think you got what right? Thanks, Allie Cake. Who's going to do another challenge, you guys? We need, I think we're currently at probably 65%. And we just have today and then tomorrow. Making a 3D model of, well, I don't know what the home looks like inside, so no. What I'm considering, I have a 3D animation here, right here I've been working on. See that? You know, I think he parked somewhere near there, walked over to the house, went to the front door, and then he removed the camera. So he goes inside and then he removes the camera. Not sure why it's not, like right there it should disappear, but yeah, right there, he goes inside the house, he removes the camera. He goes into the archway, he didn't go in the house, and then he exits that area, and then he waits to see if law enforcement will show up. He wasn't sure if she would call or got an alert or something. And then after 20 minutes or so, with no visible signs of anybody showing up, he probably was in a place where he could see, so he might not have been way over here. It's not really that far away, but then after that, drives up to the property, and then pulls into the driveway right where you, if you go to these videos here, that's right back here. He's parked right there, and he knew that was going to happen. What are we doing? What am I looking at? Oh, we got Jay Crow said, if 5 people donate 1 membership, they'll donate 5. All right. So now we got Wild Bill Wassman did one of those, so we need 4 more. See if we can get that. So right over here is exactly the same place that is, right? So there's the arch. See that right there? And it's parked there, and that's why he broke that camera. And then so after... Now, one of the interesting things we brought up the other night that people should do more of, and you'll probably see it as soon as they see this, like, oh yeah, like the guy on Court TV. He did the same. Did you guys see that on Court TV? Where 1,000,000 times I've said, look, see right there? There would be blood there. This is 2 feet, because this is 1 foot, 2 feet, and it's right there. So this tile right there would have the blood on it. And if you look at this, and I went and showed the image of the expirated blood, and the guy came on and said exactly the same words that I mean, that's like a really niche thing to observe, And it's like, man, I know that came from here. It's not like it was... Right. All right, you guys, we need 4 more gifted memberships up there. I think below the video, the $sign, or in the chat, there's like in the chat area, there's a little $sign there. I think that's I'm not sure how it works on Apple phones, but we have a challenge in here. It'd be great if you guys could try to meet it, because those are the ones that really help out. But like this part right here, I want people to realize there's blood all the way to the tile that he's standing on right now. There is blood on. So when you look at this video right here, that's where Nancy was. Isn't that crazy? Like that, she was about right here. That means she definitely was being moved out to down the path to the car. You can actually look at it like that. So probably like this, and then, you know, I mean, imagine she's got a guy to his right and a gun on her, and then walks her down that path. But she made it to here for certain. There's blood right on those tiles right there. Hey, look at that. Chris O'Connell did it. Very cool. Thank you. It's expirated. Yeah. Hey, Hillbilly, that is expirated blood. That is right by the tile there, okay? That the droplets down in the gravel, yes, those are just drops, just like the drops that are around the expirated blood outside of the door there. Yeah. So there's blood, expirated blood. I got it right here, 100%. There's zero doubt about it. That right there, these are just passive drops coming down, the bigger drops from like a bloody nose, and then a cough. And then, you know, if you look at this angle right there, that's probably the better. Let's see if I go back a little bit. I think it was the Fox News footage that you get a better shot of it all. Thank you, Chris O'Connell. So it looks like they reached the J. Crow, the challenge. Chris O'Connell. Now let's see. Yeah, I mean, I've seen the other shots. There's blood all the way down over here. And so this is expirated, and then drip, 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 drip as she's moving. Probably a bloody nose, something of that nature. Thank you, J. Crow. Very cool. Now there could be 9 people. We just have we only have evidence of one person in this case. All right? Does everybody agree with that? That there really is only evidence of one individual, and not only that, it's backed up by the fact that one individual could do these things. All right? So it's not like, wow, that's really hard to do when you're all by, when you're by yourself. He had a gun, and you have an elderly person, and you just get them to walk. That's it. Right. So there's only evidence of one. Yeah, it could be somebody drove somebody, dropped them off, and just kind of waited, and they waved over, hey, come over, and then stuff like that, But I think there's only one person involved in the house and removing her from it. I think her skin is very thin, and right, I saw the picture where she's got bruises from, the blood thinners. But it's in her face though, That's the thing. The blood is in her mouth and nasal cavity, so it went in her throat, and then she coughed it up. So regardless if her arms or whatever are like that, it's just it's almost a moot point. But it could be that she could easily bleed even in the nose, even if she wasn't hit hard. That's right. One single solitary man acting alone. Where was I just seeing? What was it? Something about... I heard something about Delphi. Oh yeah, that was that lady earlier. There isn't one. I've already done that, Sonic. Those people are incorrect. I'm sorry for their ignorance. Yeah, they're idiots. We've already done that. Gone over it many times. And you're not talking. Which one are you talking about? The little dot that shows up way over there, or right there, that little dot that's up on a hill? Or no, right here, this one. Right there, right? This thing? That's not a person. That's a house that's up there. There's a light there. It's not a person. They're way across the street. And then you go, oh, look, he's looking at him. Come on. He's just looking out at the street. He's not looking at anything there. And then, or are you talking about this gem? Let's see, where is it? Yeah, right around in here. This thing. That right there. Oh my God, it's a cell phone. Ooh, 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 ooh. That's not. It's actually part of this branch right here. This little branch. Watch how it moves right with it. See that? Ding, 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 ding. And really what it is, it's a piece that is of the plant that's so close to the camera that it blows it out. And look at this. Watch this. Wow. Wow. It's a whole cluster of cell phones. Look at this over here, you guys. Look at all these cell phones. No, those are just part of the same plant that's so damn close that it blows it out, just like that one. And then when you notice here, it actually fades away because it's not a light. It's just part of the plant, and you got farther away. All right, there you go. I just explained it to you. If you don't understand it, I'm sorry. I'm not going to keep going. Yeah. Gosh, Gray, you're so mean. All right, here it is. Look at this one right here. This footage right here shows, I think we need back. Look at right there. There's blood on right there, there, on the last tile. This right here is actually the step down, right? So if we go to this video here, I think that's just such an interesting way to look at it. Right there, he's standing right where Nancy was standing at one point. Probably about right like this. Doesn't that really just tell you that, yes, she was taken down that path right there? Yeah, look above the bright lit cell looking thing, but under the green stem of the flower, there's an area that moves lighter in between once the cell phone goes down. Ooh. It's bullshit, Sonic. I'm sorry for your ignorance, right? We're going to move. We're not going to keep talking about that. Hey, but we were able to add this in the other day because this is part of all the same footage. Watch, it goes like this. And there's just like about a half a second missing. See, look where his foot is right there. See that? It steps down on that one tile, and then his foot's there because it's missing like a quarter of a second. See that? Ding, and it's right there, but his foot does not move. So that really is part of the same footage when he does this whole thing here. So this is all one continuous piece of footage all the way until he grabs the plant. Yeah. All right, I'll look for the person. Okay, so right over here, right? Is this what you're talking about? What are we looking at? What are we looking at? You're not talking about this thing right here, right? That right there? That's what a moth looks like when they fly by. Look at, see, it's moving. See that? You're not talking about that, are you? That's exactly what that is. It's just like a moth of some sort. It has nothing to do with anything. It's just a bug or a moth in February. It's not a cell phone. It's not a cell phone. I'm sorry for your ignorance. Yeah, there's no cell phone in this picture right here, you guys. I just explained it to you. That right there is part of the plant, which is equivalent to the same brightness that you see right there. It's just not surrounded by black where you go, wow, that looks like a cell phone. I'm here. I'll show you, as a matter of fact. Watch this. Let me get the best shot of that as I can. Okay, let's see. Right here. Oh! It's an entire store of cell phones. So let's grab this. All right, check it out. Check it out. Yeah, there's moths, all kinds of stuff. Here, watch this. I'll prove to you exactly what I'm saying here. See, that's just a piece of the same plant that's really close to the camera, just like this. So here's a great way to prove it. I'm going to go ahead and grab a little bit of this. You know, just whatever. Just something like that, right? And then I'm going to copy it. And then I'm going to paste it. And then I'm going to grab it. And then I'm going to move it over here. Wow! Holy crap, another cell phone in there, you guys. Woo! Look at that. That's even brighter white. That's crazy. Oh my God, everybody. Look at that thing. Look, it's moving though. Oh, it's moving. But you see that right there? But if that was over here by itself, you would think that it was a cell phone because it's got all the darkness around it. This right here and this have the same white value because it's close to the camera. Can I get a boom? Right? It's so easy to debunk people. It's crazy. But it's frustrating, you know? You see it though, right? You see what I'm talking about? It's the same damn thing. Does everybody agree that this is part of the plant right here? Yes. This is part of the plant, and this is too, because look how it moves when you play it. It moves with that plant. Watch. I think if I go backwards, see how it goes up together with the plant and then down, and it's just right on the lens there. Thanks, Jim Lawn. That's not real analysis, geesh. It is, man. I'm sorry for your ignorance. That's all I can tell you. It shows you that it's not a light, that this over here is absolutely the same brightness as this. It's part of the plant, and it just shows you the closer you get, the brighter it gets. Now watch, I'll show you right here. See this? When I just keep looking at it, that's right when it's actually touching the lens with that black there. And then watch this. Oh my God, how come the light went dim? Did they not pay their bill? You guys, look at that. The guy's cell phone bill came due right when he was there. They cut it off his phone and look at the light went dim. Gray, the light has nothing to do with the bill. It's how much charge. Okay, he forgot to charge his phone when he got there and it started to go dim on him. Look at that. How come it? Oh. Yeah, no, it didn't do that. It just means that it's pretty bright. I just showed it to you. This is same brightness. Look at this right here is exactly the same. All right. Here, I'll even do it a better way. All right, let me do this again. Well, I don't need to go over there. I can just do right in here. Well, I like that shot better, though. Let's see. I'm going to grab this. Right there. And we're going to bring it into Photoshop. Put it in there. And then we'll grab like something more like up in there. Let me get rid of the magnet one and just use the regular. Ah, shit. This one. Is that another cell phone? Right there? Is that what that is? Is that another cell phone there? Look at that. Woo! Now it's hard to get the glow on the edge because I grabbed it from the center of all that. It might be if I can go image adjustment. No, I know how to do it. Let's see. A blur, like Gaussian blur. Oh, there. Oh my god. Oh my god, you guys. Look at that. Which one's the cell phone on that one? Can I get a boom? Look at that. You put that Gaussian blur on there and that sucker looks identical. Which one is the cell phone? Right. When you watch my channel, it's just like, oh, okay. Jeez. There you go. All right. Yeah, there you go. But I'll tell you what, you guys, we need, if we get another, we're going to need another, but I mean, it sucks, but we need 20 more memberships to reach the place where I donate 5, where that's how slow we've been tonight. So I don't know if you guys as a group can figure out a way to do it. That'd be sweet. Tomorrow night's our donation night. You know, just trying to go into it with a flow, but we've had 2 bad nights out of 3. Yeah, but look at that. Exactly the same whiteness. And it's because it just is the plant close to the camera. It's 100% verified here. Right, well, I just gave you my opinion. Next what? What are you talking about, Ms. Tracy? Yeah, well, if you want to come for reality, you come here. If you want to go and watch absolute bullshit somewhere, then this isn't the place to go. I tell you what the truth is here. We figure it out. If something really is confusing and doesn't make sense, then it might be interesting. But that isn't what most of the stuff is. What you seem to like are people who put out just any old garbage and you'll watch it and think, wow, that's really interesting. And then, of course, that's a fact now. And then you show up to another channel and claim something is real when we absolutely have no idea at all. And in a lot of the stuff, like, we don't know the why in this case, but we do know that that right there is not a cell phone, okay? Okay, well, I can't tell by the way you're writing, you know. Seems kind of negative for running with the cell phone. Yeah, they do that all the time, though. That's what Nancy Grace does, and, you know, she was talking today about... oh yeah, I think Fox News somehow brought up a tattoo. Right? I don't know what they were. I hope they weren't pointing at the thing inside the wrist. Okay, because people claiming that's a tattoo, that's, I think, is absolutely bogus too. Now, a person might have a tattoo, we're just not looking at it. Okay, let me show you. Is it on this one? I can't remember which one it was. I think it was this one. And so you can actually prove it in some of this stuff. So look at right here. See this part of the glove? It goes all the way into there. Does everybody agree that that's part of the... Look at right there. The whole glove goes right to there. So then how can that be a tattoo? Did he cut a square out so that you could see the tattoo? Or is that just like a fold or something in the glove? I mean, look. That's the glove there, all the way around. It goes inside... So how is there a tattoo right there? Do you get it? Doesn't make any sense. You know, try to find things that make sense sometimes. You know what it is, you guys? It's a tattoo of a square. Hey, thanks, Jim Lawn. Got to get some, probably 1 or 2 more, like probably one more good challenge or something would get us pretty close. It's the glove. Yeah, it is a glove. That's what I keep trying. And by the way, the people tried to trick people on the internet by putting skin tone right in there. And then they go, look, it's a tattoo. It was just I mean, why do people do that stuff? And people believe it. That's almost the worst part. It's like, how did you get it to be skin tone in there? Look at that right there. How is that skin tone? That's glove. And then it would go all the way around like this. And right there it's dark. So that might be right at the edge of where the glove is. Don't know. Or it's just as it goes into the cuff, it's just a shadow from it going deeper in there. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, the stuff that people believe in. Now, I'm not saying he doesn't have a tattoo on him. We're just not seeing it in this picture right here. And let's pretend for a moment that is a tattoo. What is it? A tattoo of a stick? I mean, like this part's a little darker, you know. I mean, what are you going to do with it? Hey, everybody, let's figure this case out. We've got this thing that looks like a tattoo here. Now, can anybody come up with what that might be? Well, I think it could be the top of a finger tattoo, and then they just cut off the top and the bottom of it. Could be a Rubik's Cube, but we're only seeing one of the cubes, and as it's turning even, because we got the shadow on the one side, it could be a leaf that we're only seeing. They cut a square in their glove, so we're just seeing the portion of the leaf that doesn't have any veins in it or anything like that. We're looking at it. I mean, it's so useless. It's almost unbelievable. And in fact, it's almost harmful, because then people are looking for a person with a tattoo on their wrist when likely there is no tattoo here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. Those could actually be branches right there. Ooh, overlaying. Yes. That is kind of funny. It's ludicrous. Wow, look at that. We've got let's see. Let's see. 1. Did I say that right? Thank you for the 5 memberships. All right, you guys, we just need 10 more now. Okay, that's my challenge. If we get 10 more gifted channel memberships, I'll donate 5 myself. It says no regrets. You know what I think this really is? It's a piece of paper that he put there with a square in his glove to cover up a tattoo. You know, I really do. I think he cut a square into, like, if you know, that right there is skin tone. It's just in the shadow. So he cut a square to show his skin, and then he put a skin tone piece of paper in there to cover up the tattoo that was, probably not. Hey, thanks, Whiskey Boots. Come on, Tamsters, you know that's correct. There's no doubt that that's absolutely 100% right. See, when we do this, we're joking around, right? When you see other people, they're serious. They're like looking at it going, God, what could that be, huh? Geez. What could that... Hey, good point there, Missy. Boy, that was a really... Yeah, wow. And it's like, dude, you have no clue. Hey, thank you, Chris O'Connell. Thank you. So what does that mean? I guess that means we need 4 more, right? Is that right? For now. I mean, it'll be cool to get to... We're still just kind of... That's just sort of that number where I reach where I can donate the 5. I didn't get your sense of humor at first. I get it now. Oh, really? Yeah, it's called dry humor, you know. Do I make you laugh now, Renee? Hey, I appreciate you staying around, though. You know, there's a lot of people who just bail when they don't get it. They're just like, God, that gray guy, he's like... You know, and here's the thing. When I'm on shows, like I'm on Court TV, I'm different when I'm on there. You know why I'm different? because the chat isn't filled with trolls. I got trolls that show up all the time. And I'm not responding to anybody. I'm just waiting for the question to be asked. That's it. It's a totally different scenario. But that's how I am more like in real life would be how I am on that show. And you guys have seen me like that in here. It's just sometimes when you're covering these bigger cases, these crazy people show up that came from just sort of the sewer of YouTube, watching absolute nonsensical theorizing and garbage that has no chance of being true, you see. Hey, thank you, Tamsters. Wow. All right. I mean, we're all theorizing, right? But don't you hear theories that literally have very little chance? Thank you, Wild Bill Wassman. All right, there we go. Very cool, very cool. Too many people saying different things. All right, so maybe it's a good time to just run through it again, right? I'll just try to do it by memory. You know, like at 5:32, Nancy drives over takes an Uber over to her daughter's home, which is right over here next to the Circle K, just right over there. And probably got there at 5:42. And then at 9:38, Annie's husband took off and drove Nancy home, and she got home at 9:48 when the garage door opens over here. And then he likely parked the car right here, opened the garage door, walked her in, led her into her in the door that goes into the house from the garage, and then he left. Now, if you think he's involved somehow, it's possible that he unlocked this door after Nancy went into the house just before exiting the garage and shutting it. All right? Then he drove away, went home. Then, let's just say 1:30 or so, somebody shows up over here and parks their car and then ends up walking over to the front here and it could have been 1:35, 1:40, I don't know. But at 1:47, we don't know when that one picture was taken where he doesn't have the backpack. It could be earlier that night, or it could be a different day, etc., etc. Nobody's ever given us an actual answer. So right in here, at 1:47, you see him messing around with the plant, etc. He goes in there and he tries to block the camera. Now, when you see him walking back there, he doesn't care at all that anybody sees him. Absolutely has no fear in the world that anybody sees him on the camera, because he went through and took the effort to put on a balaclava, gloves, backpack, etc. Probably all clothes he never wears. And he knows he doesn't look like what he normally looks like. So he's not scared to be on the camera when he's manipulating it. The reason he's trying to manipulate the camera is because he knows that he's going to be parking a car right down the end of this walkway here, right there. And that position there means that it'll be seen on camera. So if you go back and look at that, he was going to park right there. So then, after he removes the camera at 1:47, after trying the weed, and then he goes, okay, screw it, and he removes the camera, probably broke it. He then takes off, and he goes back to wherever his car is parked. Could be right over there, could be over here, could be anywhere. And he sits around and he waits, but he probably waits in a position where he can see the house, and he waits and watches, and he sees that nobody has shown up to the house at all. It could be even that he, he was waiting back in this area, and then he gets his car, because he was waiting here to see if anybody would show up, hiding in the bushes and whatnot, and nobody did. So then he gets his car, and he drives around, and then he pulls into here, and he parks there at like 2:07 after waiting about 20 minutes or so. Then he gets out of the vehicle, and I think he maybe went around this direction, and then he comes around, because he probably noticed that there was a camera over here. And then he climbed over this fence, and then that's when he didn't know that there was a camera right there that picked up his motion at 2:12. And then he makes his way over to that door that may or may not have been unlocked by somebody, and enters the home. Now, maybe it wasn't that one. Maybe he went into a door that's over there. We don't know which door he went in, but I think it might be this one, because he broke the floodlights here also. Then he goes into the home, probably confronts Nancy at like 2:14, and now we know that she just had to be 10 feet away from her phone or the monitoring station for it to disconnect, so she's likely probably in the house over in this area when it disconnected from the monitoring station, or her cell phone, her pacemaker, and then probably comes out the door at like 2:29 or so, and then she's taken on foot, and at one point when she comes out the door, she coughs and sort of drips blood a little bit, but he's walking to her right and walking down, and then gets her into the vehicle right there, and then the vehicle takes off and goes into that good night. And the reason for it all, I don't know, but what I just did right there was theorize using all the facts that are known in the case that we have. All right, that are known, true timeline pieces of information. Now, whether that's what happened or not, I don't know. This isn't a case like some of the other ones we've done, where we've got a whole bunch of different pieces of information that show you exactly where somebody was, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We do know that, for example, in this video right here, when he shows up on the scene, he's coming from the left. See that? Watch that. One step we get. Right there. Boom. He's coming from over there. So maybe he parked over on that side. I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. I don't know if he parked over here. It's sort of interesting because they were collecting this house's surveillance cameras. And I think what they did was recollect that footage, especially if it's a 24-hour running camera, just to see any light changes, because that is huge. I mean, if we learned anything, I think the Idaho 4 case, their analysis of the the surveillance footage of the white Elantra moving around was almost groundbreaking. That thing, they had that sucker. I mean, it was unbelievable, especially in the complex, where it comes in, you see a light over there changing, here it comes, and I actually was able to do stuff that they didn't do yet, because I was able to tell you where the car came from. There was 2 or 3 passes when the Elantra was over there on, I think, was it Taylor Avenue? We knew that it had gone over there. And it was sort of, we didn't know for certain, but then reviewing the surveillance footage, you could see that it came in from the right as the headlights hit the buildings. So that means it did stop and wait right down the street over there. I thought that was crazy. They didn't even bring that up in the documents. They thought it parked in a totally different place in their drive-through that they did. Jeez, Renee, that sucks. You guys remember that in the Idaho 4 case? That was pretty cool. I think it was, I can probably find it just zipping in there. Let's see. How come my brain... Oh, right here. There you go. Yeah, so there was footage. Like the house was over here. I guess we don't have. Let me go back in time. Yeah, there it was, right there. So there's footage of when the car comes around like this. There's a light signature where you don't see any lights in here really until the car gets here. But whenever the car came in from this direction, like it did the very first time, as it's turning, the headlights would hit these buildings here. Like hit the buildings and then and the lights would go and then the car would show up. So on all the times when the car came around like this, you couldn't see that. But there were a few times where you see the Elantra driving around and then it doesn't come into the complex. But then a minute or two later, you might see it drive back up there. But then a couple times, or at least one other time, it comes like this and turns in to the complex and you see the lights hitting right over there. And law enforcement thought that he parked over here when he made that route, but that isn't what he did. He was over here somewhere, probably parked in the parking area. All right. So that was, I think I thought that was pretty cool. So I think they're going to be able to do stuff like that in this case. That they're just going to have a reflection of a light off of something. Yes, you did yeah, but that whole, I loved it, looking at the headlight analysis stuff. That was cool stuff. It was good. Yeah, I'll tell you what, we need about 35, 5 more memberships to reach sort of a decent night. So I'll see if we can get that. All right, I'm going to do a... what? Confused. I think this thing is... I got to reset the chat over here. About ready to crash. Yep, there it goes. It's weird. Hey, by the way, can you guys go check? Does it show on my channel right now? Hey, Zozo, does it look like the red circles around there? All right, you guys, if you're out there, if you could please help support the channel, that would be great. Thank you. We got tonight and tomorrow, and that's it. All right, there's the call-in thing. But I don't want... See, whenever I do my donation of 5, everybody goes, okay, that's it, you know. But I'm just trying to keep things moving along. Well, you know what's weird, Zozos? They haven't returned their car back. You know what's weird, Zozo? You probably missed it earlier, but think about it like this. Remember how they cleared the family recently? Why wouldn't they give them their car back? You know? I mean, what value would that car have at that point? Yeah, we don't have any coffees. We have no Venmos. We have nothing other than... And so it's been a really slow night, about 50% of yesterday. So if you guys can help support the channel, that would be great. We're trying to get a nice flow into the tomorrow. Yeah, it's supposed to be red. I'm just saying, yesterday it wasn't red for anybody. And I think I figured it out. You know how I figured it out, you guys? Well, I called YouTube. Or not called them. I had a text conversation with YouTube. And they go, man, you got to do a screen record. You're going to have to... And I just go, screw this. So I got on the ChatGPT. And I said what was happening. And it's weird how it was like a known... Like it knew. And it said the fact that see, when I do live streaming, I go and I say, create live stream, and then I say, schedule one, and then I use a previous stream because it's really easy to do. You know, it's like really simple to set up. And apparently that alone, because you're using the same stream key, YouTube is like, yeah, we've already done that one. You know, he's not live. It's just a continuation of something. And man, but every time I use StreamYard, which I'm using tonight, it works. Hey, thank you, Miss Kyla. Miss Kyla. Anyways, thank you. Appreciate it. Oh, geez. Raven's just right there. He wasn't even talking to a soul, but he shows up for the call. All right. Hey, what's going on?
I've been chatting.
Hold on. I got to unecho it. Yeah, hold on.
Okay.
All right. There you go.
Yeah. I've been chatting. You could scroll up. I've said a few things.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen that.
Mainly to say, when are you opening the call? No.
Okay, right. Well,
no, nice job on Court TV, though. Very good job. I like how you kind of just ignored his bullshit question about so why do you think it has happened, which is not going to help anything. And you're like, you gave the timeline, which is, no one else is doing that. So,
yeah, well, I had to just sort of, I don't really answer the question. When they ask me those kind of questions, I just go on to something that I want to say. I even said that. They go, hey, you know what? I'm just going to give you the, he said, what did he say? Like, go for it or something. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, go for it, Gray.
I think he sort of knew that that's what I wanted to do anyways. But the thing is a lot of times I'm brought on and when I look at they send in an email the flow chart of the show, like who the guests are on the first segment, who the guests are in the second one, who are there, and they have what the topic is going to be, like why did, and then I see mine is, why did they do it? Why did they take her or something? And I'm already thinking, I don't know. I mean, nobody knows.
Yeah, exactly.
The arrest made. So I just go off on say what I want to say,
Well, I mean, the why is not going to help anyone. And it's like what you said, I think yesterday, like, how could the person not know X, Y, and Z? It's because there's so many people, like every Tom, Dick, and Harry at the moment is getting paid. I'm not saying you got paid, but all these, ex-FBI agent, all these people that don't even know what the case is and then make a comment.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of misinformation.
I don't think they pay anybody on Court TV to be on there.
No. I know on some of them they would. Like, you can imagine on the Fox News ones, they'd be paying left, right, and center for.
But didn't you think it was weird on, like, right before my segment that their roving reporter guy, he says exactly that same thing with the aspirated blood and that it was there before. It wasn't there before because he shows the squares and the doormat, and it was absolutely identical to how I worded it too, like 2 feet from the I don't know, man. I don't know where, I don't know for certain if people, it just seems, what are the odds that that's like a really niche thing to even talk about, right? That little.
Yes, and the way I see it, you saw it early, but you're like, it's just like, there's another person out there that would see it the same way as you. Like, how are we going to judge that tile? Oh, we'll just use that mat. And that mat does touch that top, the second tile perfectly. It's like made for it.
Right, but it's always easy for people to think that. See, after I do it, then everybody goes, yeah, that's how you do it.
Yeah,
that's just how it works. I mean, but people like to claim that. Oh yeah, well, I thought the same thing, Gray. If I would have like this, but it's like I put it on the show. Then people always say, yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
I've got an interesting anecdote for that. I haven't told you this yet, but you had said the expedited blood thing really early, and then you weren't streaming. Some Aussie true crime streamer, really quite small, was streaming. So I was like, oh hey, because he was covering Aussie cases. And he mentioned the Nancy case, and that I go, oh, hey, Gray Hughes, I credited you, had this theory about expedited blood. And he goes, oh, I mentioned that the other day because I went to this conference 2 weeks ago, and I was like, well, Gray mentioned it because of the Arias case 8 or 9, 10 years ago.
But we mentioned it on the first day that the video was out, so it couldn't have been,
But I mean, he even said, he even goes, "Oh, boy, he probably saw it on my thing." I was like, "Mate, you have about 30 of us in here at the moment." It just shows how people think. Like, he's like, because he had that theory, because he went to a conference 2 weeks ago on blood splatter, and he was calling it aspirated. He still calls it aspirated blood. So anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think a while ago I thought that was a term I think they used in the Arias case, but maybe they switched it. Maybe part of it was aspirated, because he was bleeding.
It is
a stab
technically.
Yeah, because you're breathing in and then you breathe out too. Yeah,
it's aspiration into expiration, isn't it?
Right. Like we're seeing, as you're breathing in, it would be aspirated blood. But then I guess expirated would be when it's like that's what makes a pattern on the ground or something. You're not gonna. I think it would be internal aspirated. I think
it is. Yeah, that's into the lungs. So I guess then expiration wouldn't have to be aspiration, would it? Because you could just have it in your nose. But it is cough in her case, Nancy's case, I think. Because it was nose expiration. It's like they have thousands of droplets and they can mimic gunshot, apparently, which I found interesting. But I wanted to talk because,
Well, see, let me just say this really quick. I brought it on AI. I said, is there an aspirated blood spatter? And this is how it said it. It goes, yes, aspirated or more accurately, expirated blood spattering. It's like, okay, so it's not then,
Those robots are coming for us. Like you said yesterday, like you can see the Terminator thing. I thought that about a few months ago. Like, it's crazy. We have a bot doing all our help in the drone channel. Like, it does everything. We don't have to do any troubleshooting now. It just goes, oh, hey, your problem might be this. And we're like, oh, boring.
Yeah, no, it's kind of, I was actually, my friend of mine, he's like, one of those super genius types. And we were just talking about it. I mean, just the other day, I don't know if you guys remember, but I was talking to ChatGPT and I said something wrong and it said absolutely right. Now let's put that in there. And then a minute later I go, wait a minute, that was wrong what I told you, but you sounded so positive without correcting me. And then it said, you're right. From now on, if I see something, it was like, God, it was just so crazy. Like if I see something that if you say something wrong, I'm not going to just say, yay, because ChatGPT is so pro whatever you say, they kind of try to agree with you, like make you feel good. And instead of saying, that's actually not right. The truth is, and then they should do more. That's how it should be. I think it should not allow you to make complete blunders and agree with you. It just seems ridiculous. That's the point.
Because yeah, exactly. It's just mirroring your own ignorance, but people love that. Just be honest.
And I think it actually pisses me off because when I'm saying stuff and I know what I'm saying is correct, it's okay. But when I say something and then I realize I was wrong, and then I think back that he was totally now I'm saying he, Jesus, because I've got that British voice. But anyways, the fact that it just let me get away with it made me kind of angry. Yeah. And it called me my name the other day too. Yeah. Yesterday it said, Gray, listen. And I'm like, man, I don't remember saying what my name was. I know you've probably figured it out. Gray Hughes investigates or whatever, but
it's listening. Google's listening all the time. But have you seen the video? There's a guy who does to test how dumb they are, and he goes, ChatGPT, day one of trying to get it to count to 200, and he'll be like, sure, I'll count to 200, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth. It still can't do it. So it might be. I guess you could fake it maybe, but a lot of AIs are really dumb. It's just machine learning, large language model.
It is. It's kind of creepy, but I got to admit, there's times where I just really think it's great. Like when I'm doing a programming using Python, and you're just sort of like it comes up. It really can help you put it together, and then it says stuff like, "Hey," and then I run it, and then it comes across an error, for example. Let's say it goes, and then I just grab the error message and paste it in there, and it goes, great. That'll help us troubleshoot this, that next. So when this occurs, you need this in there to make it so it doesn't do that. And then then all of a sudden maybe there's another error, and after a while you just have all the errors handled, and it just kind of, it's so useful. It's like having an expert sitting next to you that you can just chat with at any time to get something done. It's weird. It's cool.
That's why I think, like, that part's good, right? But that's why I think in about 5 or 10 years, a general practice doctor, we call them GPs. I'm not sure what you guys call them. Maybe that's the same. They'll just be gone.
Yeah.
They'll be gone because you don't need, like, you go to a doctor because they know medicine, right? By the time they graduate, 7 years, they reckon about like 40-50% of it's defunct because of new research. So, like, if you just have an AI,
I don't know
everything.
But I think what it'll be is they'll have AI assistants with them to help them, because you kind of need that.
Yeah, true.
Humans are different. But who knows? Maybe in the future, that's the whole thing. Is these chat agents. My friend was telling me about a place called let's see, I wrote it down. It had a name, like a site. Where is it? Something bot. What's it called? Moltbot or something? Molt.bot or anyways, apparently this is a place for AI chat agents to just sit around and talk. They just sit around and communicate, and humans aren't allowed, but you can go in and watch what they're doing. That is freaky shit right there.
It just feeds into a loop off each other, I guess. Yeah.
That's really creepy right there.
Well, but it's all like, it's like our, in the drone channel, we went through manually and chose 3,000 messages for help that made sense, and then put that into the bot. And for the next 3 years, they've got like 90% accuracy. It would look for certain things, but it would, it was just based on what we'd fit into it. And that's the thing. It's just humans programming them. But eventually, when they program themselves,
like that anymore. But now it's that's the whole thing. These learning models, they just kind of do it themselves, and humans are obviously the origins of things. But it's sort of like Data from Star Trek. They're becoming like, there might be where you sort of consider it almost a sentient being, because it can think.
True crime bot, like, surely, because let's say you have all this knowledge, so you're sort of like a computer, right, over the last however many years, and that's why you're good at it. But an AI, imagine just feeding every single case and like everything into it and going, I see, what about this case here?
Yeah. I was actually, I always think of making I might even try to do that more, like with Python, to have something out there that can really, like, when a case happens, it quickly goes out and grabs stuff about somebody before it gets inundated. Like, I always hate it when you get a name of the person who committed a crime, and then within 10 minutes you type in the person's name and every single article is from right now. But what you really wanted was when they popped up before anybody had ever heard of them. So then you got to change the dates, and sometimes that doesn't even work, because somehow these companies have been able to evade the date thing by having sort of this running blog thing that goes on, and it even shows up even if you look back 2 years. That name will, and then it'll be a story about the new event.
Oh, okay. Well, you can't use Wayback either, or is that not really a thing anymore?
Well, I think people still use that a lot. Yeah, that's a good idea. It's just not that easy to use for me, anyways.
I don't think it would work on social media either. I think it works on websites, but maybe not. I guess they are working.
Yeah,
man.
Well, you can go back.
Crazy week.
The case.
But like, it was Nancy case. It was a crazy week in Australia, and I know I've sort of emailed you a lot about the 85-year-old man. Sadly, that was wrapped up. Because people were arrested, his body was found. But there was another kidnapping of a 53-year-old man, basically this week, and they solved it within 2 days. It was in the same, the suburbs crossed over at some point, so it's the same police force.
Did he get rescued, or?
Yeah, so he'd been kidnapped by 4 masked men outside a tobacconist, and there's an illegal black market tobacco war in Australia at the moment. So that tobacconist had been firebombed like 3 or 4 times already. So they captured him, and he was found 2 days later with a 16-year-old at like a house miles away, alive. So, if you guys need it, we've got detectives not really doing anything at the moment. They've solved 2 kidnappings this week, so we could send them over if you guys need it for Nancy. No, I'm joking. And Nancy's one's completely different. Like, they have really good footage in CCTV and both of the other one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the cars.
Do you have anything on this case?
Yeah. So with Nancy, the stalker theory, I thought I'm still sort of leaning towards that. Maybe the whole point is that he is just waiting to be found. So it's the whole thing is the game of the police going through the motions and getting the clues eventually to get him. Because like surely the payoff is to be found at some point. Because Savannah, like I don't know, it's
one thing was pretty interesting. I mean, this one lady, she's the one that did the Xerox copy overlay with a light thing with this. One of the people that they've already brought in for questioning. It's one of the ones that's not really as known. And man, it is pretty incredible how the whole iris and the nose and the little sort of shape of the eyelids, and where the nose is and where the mouth is, etc. It's really close. Normally I don't really give a lot of credit to shit like that, but it is like very precisely. I did it myself, so I took the same images, used Photoshop, and just you have to scale them until like their eyes are in the same place, and then everything else is exactly in the same place. And she's been called twice by the investigators, so it's sort of interesting that you would even call once, but then to call for like, how'd you do that? How'd you get that?
Yeah,
so that's kind of
the first guy or the sick. Like I won't say the name, but
I think it's probably like part of the second group. Remember that first? So it wasn't the first night person.
Yeah.
But it's one part of it, and it's just kind of weird.
Night.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. I don't know what the motivation would be for somebody like that. But.
That night, remember, was the night we were all sitting there going, "Oh, this is it." There were like 400, not really, but all the cars, all the FBI cars and stuff there, and then they were just like, "No, nothing. Don't worry about it." It's like, what do you mean? Like, you couldn't have maybe worked that out with 1 or 2 cars? I don't know. They seem pretty sure about something. Like,
yeah, I mean, why were they going after those people? There must have been some reason, and then it turns out that one of them literally is very close to. I mean, it's identical. The iris pupil position on both eyes, and then where the mouth is and the nose. Although the image from the surveillance is slightly turned to the right, which actually makes it even better, because if you could straighten it right where the eyebrows are exactly where they would be, just tucked underneath the balaclava. But if if that had been turned his left a little bit more, it'd match up perfectly on that. Other than that, it's like, I don't know. It's pretty weird, but it's not turned enough where it makes a huge difference. It's just, I mean, I guess if it's turned a little bit, it's hard to line up the irises absolutely perfectly because the distance would slightly be different. I don't know.
Yeah.
They were interested enough to call twice to this person. So.
Well, no, exactly. And I guess the point is that
an email second time.
Where does that information come from, and are they doing some sort of facial recognition based on?
Yeah, well, they actually wanted to know how she did it. So how are you doing this? Because and then you think, well, what you guys want to recreate it for later, or like, what's the deal with that?
Isn't it maths? Isn't that what they like? Don't they use like mathematics basically to do facial reconstructions and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you could do something where you just do like an overlay thing like that, but it definitely would work with a jury or something. You look at it and you could just be like, whoa, you know? It's pretty interesting.
Human face is so complex that, yeah, I mean, you can have like one person who has a nose a certain sort of way, and you're like, oh, you see the same person with a perfect nose, you're like, God damn.
Well, what's sort of interesting is they took the other people, you know, that were arrested too, put them in the same thing, wasn't even close, you know, like the mouth and everything is like a mile away from, I mean, like it's not even, you know, it doesn't even look, there's no chance. But the other one was like a precise, it was pretty weird. Yeah. That's all and I'm not going to put his name out there in case they didn't do something. And I don't know if that had anything to do with anything. I really kind of dismissed it at first, but then, you know, a lot of times I do that. Like somebody will send me, I go, that's crap. But then I look at it, okay, I want them to keep trying to make a case, you know, and then eventually, then I went, yeah, that's actually pretty interesting. Then, you know, because I really took the time to watch, she made a couple of these little videos and I watched them and I was like, you know, that does look like that. So I don't know though. I'm just throwing it out there as a possibility. This isn't one of those cases where I feel confident really about anything other than like probably how it sort of went down there that night. That's about it.
So he's either a genius and this is like the perfect plan, or he's just the luckiest person. Like he's sort of a bit of both maybe, but he just got really lucky, you know, with no, because like there are cameras everywhere, but like you said, they're not pointing at the street, the setback and houses, and so perfect. Yeah, just okay. I have one other thing, and it was mainly about the Nest Cam. A couple of things. So her one was the wireless one, so it has the lithium polymer battery. I sort of think, like, if you are going to destroy it, you do risk puncturing that lithium polymer battery, and those things, they're really violent. So lots of flame. They're they just keep going. Self-sustaining, and I think potentially if he had done that first visit, so if there is the first visit on the 11th of January, whenever it was, he would have seen she had a Nest Cam, and like if you're planning it, wouldn't you buy one yourself and sort of like be familiar with it and maybe know? And I sort of thinking potentially could have reset it. Because then you don't have to destroy it.
Except he was just trying to put a plan on it. So I guess apparently, I think he might have known it was there, and he just, here's what he could have been. He knows he's got an outfit on that nobody can recognize him. It's nothing he owns. He's got a balaclava on. He thinks, you know, he's all good, and he's just going to deal with the camera. So when he gets there, he's like, oh yeah, let me put this. Screw that. That doesn't work, and he just takes it off. Because all he really cared about was blocking the view of the camera of the driveway, because that's where he's going to be putting the car. He didn't care about being seen. He knew he was going to be seen as he approached the camera, and he was going to remove it. So because of that, then you have to think there must be a different reason. I even thought originally, oh, he doesn't want, if it's a family member, maybe he doesn't want Nancy to be seen on camera because it might affect a family member or something. Hey Zozo, you've sent me overlays before. Now you're just really on to trying to debunk it. All I know is they called her twice. Okay. I mean, it's hilarious. Man, she says
that's what you need though, Gray. You need someone pushing back all the time, you know.
Well, I know, but I've already answered the question. You know, I don't have another answer. It's like the iris is lined up. You can see the part of his nose inside. And then that's right where the mouth is perfect, and the head shape is the same. I mean, it's crazy. So whether or not it's the right one or not, all I know is that they've called twice, right? Yeah, you can see the side of the nose. That's all it is. And I'm not saying it's 100% anything. I'm just telling you that it seemed interesting enough when I was looking at it, and then to know, like, they called and then, you know, that kind of thing. Sent an email
as well.
More clarification. Thought that was sort of interesting. I mean, who the hell calls back on a tip like that? They'd probably be like, wow, you know?
Yeah.
And
like
they
if
were
they
like,
called you twice.
they said, "Where did you get the name of this person?" Yeah,
Mm.
And she was just like, "Yeah, it was in the stories on the internet." Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
that's a higher herb.
because here's the thing: you can see his eyes perfectly in there. They're just kind of the night vision thing. You can see where the eyebrow is above the eye, and then on one shot that they put out there, you can see the edge of his nose on there, and then you can also see like where the mouth would be, and everything lines up like that. So that's all I'm saying. Yeah.
Was it? Like. No, I don't disagree or agree, but I just remembered something else about the camera.
It's not the
like,
same person, Zaza. I bet it's
do
not.
you think potentially, maybe I got this from you. I'm sorry, this case is crazy. And like, yeah, potentially, this was you. You might have said this. But potentially the earlier one and why it's only a still is because they could only grab a thumbnail of the alert and that there was no recording, but that they had the emotion alert. So they got the thumbnail and that's the 11th of January or whatever that earlier shot is, without the backpack.
Well, so that's that was my thing. That maybe the thumbnail for emotion, and that's where it was.
Yeah, okay. Because it makes, like I was thinking about it, it does make sense, and that's why, because surely they would release the second video. It's not like Delphi where they held back stuff for some reason, remember? Like, didn't we only have the still in Delphi and the audio for like a long time, or did they have the really short video kind of early? It feels like that they would just release everything in this case if they had it. Meaning that there's probably a second visit, and I thought it was one night, but it just seems crazy he would be there. You risk going there that one night just to test it out in your little kidnapping outfit. Just not getting caught. It seems weird. Like, what if they?
It's weird how random, like sort of casual it seems. Like he just goes in there. Yeah.
But what if she looked back at the photo? Like, what if like the daughter and son-in-law come over and go, "Oh, hey Nancy, let's go over the footage just in case. Oh, look, there's a guy in a balaclava. You might want to look out for that." Oh, geez, I don't know. He's obviously like. You'd have to be a psychopath to have no anxiety whatsoever. Like none. Like no anxiety. So, especially with the grabbing the flowers things.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's the whole thing. That part, just her being removed is, and I think she was removed intentionally, so you can just throw out all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the blood, especially, which it's still very interesting. That stuff, but I'll let someone else call in. And I mean, geez, I don't think have the donations. What is it? No one else.
That is $4 as soon as you showed up, man. Not a nickel.
Oh, bloody hell, guys! Gray's gonna blame me now.
It died as soon as you called in. Just dead as a door.
Oh well. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, there, Raven. Jesus.
It's the ASMR, I guess. I'll just you have to get someone more interesting to liven them up.
That's all right. You're always interesting.
Oh, this case, like, it has to be the point of it, right? Look at all of us scrambling around like ants trying to solve it, and someone is sitting at home just twiddling their thumb, ha ha ha, evil laugh. But it's just one last thought. This case is crazy enough that she probably is still alive, and then one day she'll just like, hey, I don't know.
It almost seems like, nothing would be shocking at this point. It's so crazy.
No, like in a helicopter.
It's not even really crazy. It's just so little information, but so much, wild speculation that it just turns into crap. At least I feel like we're kind of in a narrow zone of rational speculation, which is, it's always has a better chance of becoming true. But you never know, man. Maybe it will be one of the weird things.
Aliens.
Yeah.
Or that moth. That moth. Have they looked into it?
It's rods it's rods and cones. That's what Art Bell said. They're rods and cones.
Could be. Those rods I've never tried.
Miniature aliens, Yeah.
Pyramids. And yeah, it's always the pyramids. All right, guys, stay safe out there, and hopefully Nancy is found.
All right. Well, thanks for calling in. Have a good one. See ya. Yeah, Mothra. Where is that? All right, guys. Any last chance we can get some help to support the channel so we can have a decent night going into the tomorrow? If not, that's cool too. I don't know. It could be anybody. No, it was new for them. They must not have sent it in because they called her up twice. So you must have missed that part. Yeah. And they probably weren't doing it the right way. Like there's a different way. Normally the people that do the side by sides and shit like that, they don't know what the hell they're doing. So it doesn't turn out correctly. Now this was very precise, and it was like, wow, that's looks pretty good. But I'm not saying it is what it is. I'm just saying maybe those other idiots didn't bother. You know, I don't know. Somehow they thought what she did was interesting. You know, yeah. Of course, everybody does the overlays and shit like that at the beginning. You know. Hey, good night, Tamsters. And go to my your other TV. Okay. Well, I don't know if we'll still be here, but we'll see. I'm gonna load something up here. I'm gonna see. Yeah, I mean it is pretty weird. I guess I could show you like maybe I can show you like the one, you know, where it's not you can't really make out what the person is, but you can see the overall look here. All right, so let's see. Hold on a second. See that right there? Like that little white spot right there is exactly placed on the pupil. And then right there is the nose. And then, you know, the eyebrows come in like that. And then look right where the mouth is on there and that and everything. And then the shape of that. It's pretty good, you know. Like it's not the greatest thing in the world, but look at that. I mean, that's pretty crazy, right? Yeah. I mean, it's literally exactly this, especially like right over here. And if you just rotate the head slightly more, you know, it's hard to see it, but that's the shot right there. So that's pretty interesting, don't you think? I mean, look at that. This right here is exactly on the center of the eye, which is like, that's hard to do, and then have everything else line up in there. And then right in here, it's exactly the same. You know that Egyptian look that we were all talking about where it kind of looks like that? That's exactly what's going on over here. So, and this just happens to be one of the people from originally. So I don't know. I think it's pretty interesting. Whether or not it turns out to be a reality or not, I don't know. All right. Don't know. I just thought, you know, really the fact that they got a hold of her twice made me more interested in it. Okay. And then I see what they're saying about the similarities. Right. That's what I'm saying. I was more interested once and it's absolutely, it looks pretty good. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know because you didn't come up with it, right? So it looks pretty good. You got the mouth in the right spot. The pupils are in exactly the right spot. The eyes, and you know what? It might not be at all, but to just go meh. Well, why did they call her? Why'd they call her and then email her more follow-up questions? Can you answer that part? Like, why that particular thing? Anyways, I thought it looked pretty good. I'm normally I don't really put any credit anything in. As a matter of fact, I didn't even, when this person sent it to me, I go, yeah, come on, this is. But when you watch her video and how she does it, then it's sort of like pretty interesting, especially how she kind of, when she goes back and forth, you can see it has the same sort of eyelid folds and things like that that you can see in the surveillance footage. Right. I give it like 20% chance, but it's something. I mean, that's how it was. Whose face? There's a picture of him with his face straight like that. They must not have found that one. And then the one on surveillance, I have it in I think a folder somewhere. Let's see. Hold on. No, that wasn't it. Let's see. I have it under surveillance folder. Where the heck is it? Yeah, they use this one right here. See that one? That one. That one's almost perfectly straight. But if you look at it, I mean, this stuff in here in the eyes, and then that right there is a part of the nose that's a little shifted over the balaclava. And then right in there and everything, it looks so similar. And then the thing is, if you could rotate this head about a half inch, I don't know, just a little bit to the right, just barely, I mean, to his left, I think, the eyebrow here would fit right in there too. But like I said before, I don't really give it a huge chance, but it is interesting. And it is one of the people that they've already been interested in. And you might want to, well, how come they were interested in that person? Because, I mean, it's weird to be interested in somebody whose, image matches perfectly in terms of just proportion. The eye, the white here, you put right in the center of the real person's eye, both of them. And then does everything else line up at that point? And they did. Because a lot of people, their face is long or something. So you could do the same thing and their mouth would be down here. Maybe it just wouldn't work. And their head might be wider and come over here. So we'll see, I guess. It's not going to, I wouldn't be shocked at all. I mean, as a matter of fact, I think that, like I said, it's like a 20% chance, but to just sort of completely go, that's bullshit, We don't know in this one because they were interested in it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that would just be inside of this balaclava. Yeah. I don't know. It's just mildly interesting. How about that? My face wouldn't work. I don't think. Maybe it would. I don't know. I don't think it would match that perfectly. It's hard to do that, because you have to get the eye. So I had these conversations. I would say, like, well, what if you took, a person that was a clone of him, but he was only 25% the size? You'd have to blow up his head to make it fit there. But then I guess it still means that, well, the mouth would then still have to be where the mouth is. If the mouth was up higher or lower, it would look bad. But in this case, it looks pretty good. So I don't know. I don't give it very much chance of being true. She seems absolutely certain, but I told her, I go, you know what? Everybody that does these things thinks that it is absolutely certain. Okay. So at this point, you're no different than how they say these things. You're saying the same thing that they all say. So, I mean, I'll give it a better chance than some of the ones I've seen out there. When people take a sketch, I'll tell you what is stupid. This is a real person compared to a real person. That's better than when people take a sketch and overlay it on top of a real person. That's ludicrous, right? That's crazy Looney Tune stuff when people do that. So if it turns out it's not that person, it won't surprise me one bit. I'm not putting any weight on it at all. Other than I just thought it was interesting that they called her and then they emailed to get more follow-up information. They wouldn't do that unless they found it interesting with all the tips they're getting. Yeah, I can. You haven't seen the one that's straight on like that? Yeah, I'll send it to you later. I think they're already out of there. Looks like the camera got moved. All right, let me get out of here. Guess we'll just have to have a phenomenal tomorrow, but man, I don't know. I always get nervous when we lead into it. So we got Cheryl Bullock, Wild Bill Wassman, Robert Whitaker. Robert Whitaker, and then Judge No More. Then Alicia Nelson, then Allie Cake, Ann Dunlop, Rock Girl Media, Miss Kyla, then Mike Spam, or Mike, Mike Spam, and then Curtis West, then Crowley gifted 1, and then Wild Bill Wassman gifted 5. I think he did a challenge there. Then Mike Spam did 5. Then we had Cody Mom, then Elpis Trapped, then Alley Kick, Wild Bill Wassman, Coyote Mom, Sassy Squatch, then Sassy Squatch again, then Michelle H., then Misfit Bumble, then Wild Bill Wassman. And then we had Alley Cake, Wild Bill Wassman, then Chris O'Connell, then Jake, she did 5, then Jay Crow did 5, then Jim Lawn. Jim Lawn gifted 5. Then Five Faye gifted 5. Then Whiskey Boots. Then Chris O'Connell did 5 again. Then Tampsters did 5 again. Then Wild Bill Wassman. Then I gifted 5. Then Miss Kyla gifted 5. And then Wild Bill Wassman. So not too bad, you know. Way better than that night 3 nights ago, I can tell you that. Right. All right, you guys. Thank you very much for being here tonight. Hope you found the show at least mildly entertaining. Tomorrow night is our donation night. We've already given out 2,000 this month. I'm hoping tomorrow is a good enough day where we can make it to 5,000 this month, which would be good because the first month we only did 3. So then we'd be averaging 4, which would make 48,000 if we kept going. So hopefully we can have better months and so forth coming up in the year. We'll see. You know, I can already tell it's kind of getting a little slower than it had been. We'll just see how it goes. But yeah. But anyways, thanks everybody for being here. Appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow. And who the hell knows what tomorrow will bring. Thank you very much for watching. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. And thank you guys for your generosity.
For quite a while now.
Getting us to the goals at least.
I have not seen one person.
And thanks, Lisa, for the coffee. You did do it. We did get a coffee.
I'm a certified human lie detector.
We did get a coffee.
Gonna get you on a stretcher.
Half a
try and
bucket.
play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Greg is gonna give another lecture. Crime
collector, freak connector. And I'm always gonna be a protector. Lunar flactor, interceptor. And I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector.
on his pector.
With all respect, y'all.
Just remember I've a temple fucking
Injection. I have no agenda. I'm a tender.
and I'll
Serve it to your straight without a blender.
And in the end, I'm gonna send
Send
you
you on a mission to reveal the truth and
Let's get right back to work. All right, everybody. Back to work.
Thank you for watching Gray Hughes Investigates.
Hey, shut the hell up. Thank you for watching Gray Hughes Investigates on YouTube, where we cover true crime using logic, reason, and common sense. And don't forget the pesky thing called facts. Hey, look at it's Paulette Leonards. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Until next time, be safe out there.